Well, happy Merrill Monday, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Great to be here with all of you. What just happened? What a weekend. What a weekend it was here in America's finest city. Holy smokes. Especially Sunday. Sunday was an elite day in almost every single way. So good to be here with you guys this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Paulie said we just hit the 6,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. I would like to get more. I don't know why. Probably just ego. I just want my ego fed, maybe. If I'm being honest. I'm trying to be more honest. I want the most subscribers I can have, right? Isn't that standard? That's why you have a YouTube feed. So we just surpassed 6,000. So if you're not subscribed, go to YouTube. Just hit subscribe. Won't cost you a dime. We are, broadcasting on 97.3 The Fan, your Odyssey app. But the YouTube feed is where you can see all kinds of fun things like what we're wearing today. We'll explain in a moment. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning, everybody. Sounds like you guys had a spectacular Sunday with athletic achievements of your own.
Yes.
My athletic achievements weren't all that impressive over the weekend, other than getting through 54 holes of golf. Really mediocre golf in my club championship.
That's something to behold. 54 holes, and you walked the whole time.
Carried my bag up and down those hills, but
how sore are you?
Man, I'm so stiff, as I like to say. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm a 5 handicap who played like a 10 handicap.
Really?
It's just one birdie in 54 holes. I mean, how sad is that?
That's standard, actually.
Paulie
and I are like, that's pretty good.
But I'm happy for you guys. Congratulations.
When's the last time you got one birdie in 54 holes? I mean, it's been a long time.
No kidding.
I average a birdie about every 54 holes. That's a good weekend in my book, for sure. Man, we had a great day. And I want to start, too, let's just start on Friday, where we got off the show. And, last week was a long week. It was just a long week. I was pretty cashed by the time we got out of here. And went home and was really looking forward to the Joe Musgrove start. But I had a wedding to go to that night, so I did the thing. Hannah's like, don't worry. I'll go get Bo. You get some rest. I said, thank you, babe. Thank you so much. Get in bed, get all cozy, fall asleep for about an hour. And it was a pretty juicy hour nap. I get up, we start getting ready for the wedding. We get in the car to go to the wedding, and all of a sudden, I open my phone, and I go, ah! And I yelled out loud. Hannah goes, what? And I go, and I held the picture up. And it was a picture that Sammy Levitt had sent us from Yu Darvish, who, by the way, when I woke up from my nap, I woke up to find that Yu Darvish is coming back. He's off the restricted list, and he's going to be pitching for our San Diego Padres, God willing, very soon. So Sammy sends us a picture, and it's Yu Darvish, and he's wearing our shirt. In his first press conference back, I almost died. I mean, I legit yelped out loud. I couldn't believe it.
It was wild.
It was wild. So
You've already said you like to have your ego fed.
Yes.
Well, that was an ego-feeding moment.
I had almost got a little misty-eyed. I just couldn't believe it.
It's got to be worth at least 10,000 YouTube subscribers.
100, right, exactly.
Smash
Everyone go
that
subscribe.
like.
Smash it. So I thought to myself, Woodsy, don't let yourself think about why. Because I know the answer. This is the only shirt in his locker. And I know that because we gave it to, I didn't want to let myself. This is what I do.
No.
I like to put myself down, put us, say it's not, it was a
Even
matter
if Blake
of
Batcher
happenstance.
gets called up, he's got like 5 different Padres workout shirts just by default.
That's
in this
true.
locker.
He does get hooked up, but
You had a choice.
for whatever reason,
and he chose.
he chose that shirt, and it just made my day. It just put me in it was just cool. It was a cool moment, man, and I couldn't believe it. So we love you. We love him. And so that was really special. And then, the game Friday night was elite. The game Saturday sucked. And then obviously yesterday. So it started yesterday with the Tier 1s who've not been playing our best brand of baseball. We had a lot of guys out yesterday. We had a real good rivalry game. And we came down to the 9th inning and we were tied. And they threw a guy in the first 5 innings that is so nasty. He's probably he probably throws harder than any adult league pitcher. And we handled him pretty well. He broke my favorite bat right on my hands.
I think as a team, we broke at least 6 bats.
He was
So you play in a wood bat baseball league.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this. When a Major League Baseball player breaks a bat,
No
whatever,
problem.
they just pull in the bat rack, pull another one out.
Yeah.
Team
Got a
orders,
box
and they
of
don't
20 in their
have to worry about that. Those things are expensive.
Buddy. So I
You break one of those, it's like, I'm just out, what, 100, 150 bucks? What are we talking about here?
more.
250.
That's crazy.
So
That's crazy.
think about this. To go play that game yesterday, I had to hire a babysitter to watch Taylor because it was 100 degrees at Orange Glen. 100 degrees. 100 degrees. No way I'm bringing him out there with no shit. Like for him to roam free out at Orange
No
Glen,
shade.
no shade, can't come in the dugout. So I found a sitter. That was 120 bucks. Broke my bat, my War Stick bat. It's like $200. That's a $320 day.
Well, don't forget you won.
And we won, so I had to donate.
And because of Jackson Merrill, you doubled the donation to the Peter Seiler Legacy Fund.
Hi, this is Jackson Merrill.
So $200.
Yeah, about $500 Sunday. So very cool. But I'll tell you what, I would have paid $1,000 for the Sunday that we had yesterday. So we had our first walk-off, which was so fun. The guys played really, really hard. Shout out to all of them. It was awesome, man. And then, of course, as I'm walking my bag to my car, I get a text that said, F yeah! And I went, well, they did something. So I flipped my phone on real quick, 2-2. And I had no idea who did it, had no idea what happened. It turns
Guys
out,
are getting into their cars, and we just
Pro 4! Pro 4! It was amazing. It was amazing. Everyone's so locked in on Padres baseball. So that was cool. Then I get in the car and put
the
on
first base coach for the other team walking over to our dugout in between. Hey, what's the score?
What's the score?
We had
It's-
the game playing in the speakers.
It's so good. And then I get in the car and I put on Tony and Jesse, and I listen to him walk us through the whole thing, and just screaming in my car on the way home. The vibes were insane. My son, our team they raised the most funds. So they got from the league a big party bus. They got to all go down to the game. So all the moms get on the bus with all the kids. They took them down to the game. They were there for the whole thing. They saw the home runs. They were there. Bo got his little lunch box, had the time of his life. He had elite behavior. Taylor had elite behavior with the babysitter. It was a perfect Sunday.
So you heard Jesse's call of the home run. I'm assuming at some point, Jesse's call was great, but
I went back.
I'm assuming at some point you must have heard Don Orsillo's. And Don's had some legendary, fantastic calls. In my opinion, just personal opinion, might have been his best ever.
Yeah,
it was a fantastic call. Of course, we'll have the collected calls for you of Jackson Merrill's walk-off home run. This kid is unbelievable. I mean,
it's my rookie of the year.
They were talking in the dugout before he hit the home run. Luis Ariz, Manny going, he's going to walk it off here. I mean, they predicted it.
Yep.
Not that it's much of a prediction at any point.
Right. You're like, oh, real stretch. Jackson Merrill walks
the collection,
it off. That's what he does.
I think it was AJ Cassavell who had the tweet yesterday. The collection of relievers that he has hit home runs off of late in games is unbelievable. Mason Miller, Blake Trinan, David Bednar, George Soriano, now Edwin Diaz. I mean, just some of the nastiest arms in baseball. And this kid goes up with no fear,
none,
no reservations, just looks for his pitch to hit, says, I'm not trying to hit a home run, I'm just trying to, drive the ball somewhere, do my thing, but every single time just seems to go over the fence, leave the yard. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's just a notch in that dude's bedpost every time.
Merrill!
There's another one.
You can have a successful 15-year major league career.
Correct.
And not collect the kind of big home runs that Jackson Merrill has done in the first 4 months at age 21. There are, David Peralta, 30, long career, 37, whatever, 34 years old, probably doesn't have this collection of clutch home runs over the last decade plus that Jackson Merrill has just done in the first few months. This is not normal. This is not really that believable that a kid can do this in his first year. It's amazing.
It was absolutely incredible. It's been incredible, and again, it's so fun. Now we're taking Jackson Merrill's, ABs, and you watch them and you just go, how does he do it? How does he do it? You break him down and you go, he's not trying to do too much. He's
I mean,
not.
at what point is this on the opposing pitching staff
Yeah,
to not walk him?
to not walk him. Yeah. So it was just a great weekend, man. It's I hate, like I said, I hated the game on Saturday. We all did. Clunker of a game. We'll talk about it certainly. And wait, was Saturday the?
Saturday was the stinker.
Saturday was the stinker. Friday was the great one with Joe. Yeah, they went loss win.
Right,
Yeah.
which is fine. That's
which is
what
fine. That's
they
what we
needed
said.
to do in this series.
But
I've heard that Livy Dunn's actually throwing her Rookie of the Year support behind Jackson Merrill at this point.
Well, here's an interesting story. So I tweeted yesterday. It's over. Like, it's over. I'm sorry, Paul. And I wrote, I'm sorry, Paul and Livy. I love them. I love Paul Skeens. I don't get me wrong. I love Paul Skeens. He has some videos on Instagram that I lie in bed at night and I show my son about work ethic, about believing in yourself. We watch them over and over. I love Paul Skeens. But what he's done this year isn't close to what Jackson Merrill's done. It's just not close. It's not close. So
not entirely his fault.
Absolutely not his fault.
He's
Absolutely
a pitcher.
not his fault.
He
And
wasn't called up until May.
You're a victim of the team you play for.
Of course.
Right? So it's not his fault. But I tweeted it. Now, we have a friend that works for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Remember, Paulie?
Oh, yeah.
I get a DM yesterday. All right, that's enough.
Oh.
So I said, hey, listen, I can't. And I said the exact same thing I just told you guys. I said, I love Paul. This has nothing to do with Paul or Livy Dunn. This has everything to do with Jackson. He goes, I love what Jackson's doing. He works for the Pirates. He goes, you're a Paul Skeens fan. I go, we're huge. We love him.
Of course.
And he goes, all right, I'm going to see if I can send you something to try to tip the scales in our favor. I go, oh, no. Now, I can't be bought. My 6-year-old who loves Jackson Merrill. I go, bro, if you know how fickle kids are. I mean, kids are fickle. So I'm going to have to really dig in here and maybe hide it. If he does send me something, I'm going to have to hide it from Bo.
Our love cannot be bought.
Our love isn't bought at all.
It's not. No one can do anything that gets us excited about, as we're showing off our shirts that are the shirts of you, Darvish, wearing our shirts.
Yes.
This
Inception.
morning that we're all wearing.
Shirtception.
Shirt inception, yes.
Yeah,
So,
man. But
can't buy us.
I just, it was just such a cool, there was some good news. I hated that we talked about you, Darvish, for 20 minutes on Friday, and then we had the skipper on. Maybe that would have been a fun time to break that news, Skip. I'm sure he wasn't like,
Maybe he didn't know about it yet.
Ben! I'm sure he was just sitting in the club and he's like, hot damn, that's you, Darvish. Like, no way. No way.
That's correct.
Yeah, exactly. Him sitting there through that interview, with an ass-eating grin on his face going, these dumb bastards got no idea what's about to happen at 10:30 or whatever it was. So I was like, come on, man. Come on. So it was, everyone's in a really good mood.
Maybe if they had won
win.
on Thursday and he had been, in
a better mood,
in
yeah.
a little cheerier mood,
That's true.
he would have shared the you Darvish news with us.
That is absolutely true. But great weekend was had by all.
Caveman in the chat says Merrill almost has as many walk-off home runs as Skeens has wins.
So stupid.
What are we talking about?
What are we even talking about, man? And again, this guy's not clubbing these home runs in 14-3 blowouts for a last place team. The dude at 21 playing in the big leagues for the first time, playing a new position, has taken this team and went, come on, everybody get up here.
The only person in baseball that might be more clutch is Jurickson Profar.
Yeah, exactly. They're on the same team. So it is it's a sight to behold, man. It is a sight to behold. But we love you guys. Thanks for being here. I had a lot of people tweeting. Can't wait for the show tomorrow. I mean, we're just as fired up as you guys are, man. It is incredible. We got all the calls for you. We got all the fun stuff that we do after a game like that.
All right, we'll set the menu coming up. Obviously, lots to talk about the weekend series against the Mets. Have some guests as well. We'll let you know all about it when we come back. We are off and running. It's a new week. It's Monday morning. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend out there. Kelly Danick is standing by. Our first check of traffic, and then Ben and Woods right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Of course, the good news over the weekend wasn't limited to just Joe Musgrove's absolute masterpiece on Friday and the walk-off win yesterday. We talked about Yu Darvish, obviously, in the Open, and his return sounds like, progressing pretty well. 3 innings of bullpen session yesterday against some Lake Elsinore minor leaguers who came to Petco Park in the morning, and if he comes out of that well, they can extend him out to 4 or 5 innings later this week. And you can certainly see a scenario where by the end of next week or so, Yu Darvish could be back in the starting rotation. And you can see a scenario where right about the same time, Fernando Tatis Jr. is also back for the San Diego Padres. Didn't mention Tatis, but taking batting practice with the team at Petco Park. And it was good to see, Tatis making his progressions toward a return. He will apparently go to Arizona this week while the team's in St. Louis, so he can continue ramping up activities there, face some of the guys in the organization who are at the Arizona League, and hopefully play a little baseball. And once he does that, they'll evaluate, and he could be on track for a early to mid-September return at the latest, probably at this point, as long as things are going well. So even though they only won 2 out of the 4, mostly a good weekend for the San Diego Padres.
I mean, if you're going to, 2 out of 4, which is what we said, you have to have this. You have to have it. They pick up 0 ground on you.
Yep.
These are just 4 games you just flush down the toilet, essentially, if you're the New York Mets and the San Diego Padres.
I mean, you're 5.5. You're 5.5 up on the Mets going in.
Yep.
You're still 5.5 up coming out. They're the team that has really the only team now that has really a legitimate shot of catching you and knocking you out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
If the Braves catch you, you're still in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's 3 playoff teams. If the Mets do, then there could be problems. But you've taken 4 games off the calendar. You are running out the clock.
That's it.
Like an NBA team with a double-digit lead in the last 4 or 5 minutes. All you want to do is get to the finish line, and the Mets are the team that needs to make up ground. They need to win a bunch of games and hope they get some help. And as long as you're just treading water, that's actually fine at this point. Now, trying to catch the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers and earn home field advantage and win the division didn't help yourself this weekend.
Nope.
Because, those 2 teams remain immensely hot, especially the Diamondbacks. God. I mean, man, I thought the Red Sox might come through with 1 or 2 wins at home at Fenway Park over the weekend.
Literally worthless. Sweet Caroline. Where's she been? Well, I mean,
that's a team fighting for a playoff spot.
They're fighting for their lives.
They
rolled
and they
over.
can't even get 1 win against the absolutely insanely hot Arizona Diamondbacks, who are 20-5 in their last 25 games. And that includes getting swept by the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know how that happened, but the rest of the time, 20-2 against everybody else in the last 22 games. You're not gonna make up any ground on a team like that. That's absolutely insane baseball they've been playing right now. So
Dodgers took 2 of 3.
Yeah, so you drop a half game. You're 4.5 games behind the Dodgers, a game and a half behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. But I will point out, and we can talk about this as the week goes on. The Dodgers and Diamondbacks play 4 Friday to Monday at the end of this week.
Who
So
the F do you root
someone is going to lose. I mean, there are 4 losses somewhere in that series and 4 wins.
Who do you root for?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Who do you root for?
I know who the answer is, and nobody's happy about it.
You can't say Dodgers, because don't you still want to catch them? But you could move,
If you want to win the division,
you got to get to the top of the wild card first.
But no, I think if you want to win the division, you're closer to the Diamondbacks. So if they, win 3 of 4, and you can take care of business this week on the road and have a good road trip in St. Louis and Tampa, then you can hang with the Diamondbacks, and gain 2 or 3 games on the Dodgers. Then all of a sudden you go in, you're both like a game and a half, 2 games out going into the last month of the season in September.
I think I'm going to abstain from any watching.
The 4-game series?
4-game wraparound series.
So if they split and the Padres win 2 out of 3, I guess, in Tampa, that would be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, best case scenario is, they split, you sweep.
Each game goes 30 innings.
You pick up, 2.5 games, that this weekend is the best case scenario. Now, don't take anything for granted. The St. Louis Cardinals gave the Padres problems early in the season. The Rays just swept the Diamondbacks not long ago.
Yeah.
Playing in that, weird, empty ballpark that they do. None of these games this week, I think, are going to be easy for the San Diego Padres. So that starts today. And by the way, when you look at our our rundown for the show, we will talk a little St. Louis Cardinals baseball with our friend Katie Wu, who's going to join us at 7:35 this morning, getting ready for the 4-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. And then Sam Levitt will check in. He was off this weekend, actually, for a wedding, but he still wants to check in with us after his big week last week. And then obviously what happened this weekend with the Padres. So Sammy will be with us at 8:35. Around that, all of our regular features. We've got our Padres Wrap-Up coming up in just a couple of minutes. Get all the highlights of yesterday's walk-off, a Sunday win. It's been rare for the San Diego Padres since like April. They have been one of the worst teams in baseball on Sundays, but they needed that one yesterday. They got it. We'll have all the highlights coming up in our Padres Wrap-Up. Talk about the other games. Take on Woods. Don't do this. Coming up as well in our 7 o'clock hour, and a Reindl Report in our 9 o'clock hour. And what do we got to give away today? We've got Kansas tickets.
Yeah.
You mean Carry On My Wayward Son?
Carry On My Wayward Son. There'll be peace when you were gone.
They're actually coming to Humphreys on September 22nd. So we've got tickets to see Kansas in
I've never
concert.
seen a show there. That looks like so much fun.
I mean, you guys, too, that series between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers is going to be... It's going to be a battle. Like, there's right now only 3 games. Like, the Diamondbacks, they've got the Mets. So we got to root for the Mets, who we loathe. We got to root for them. But the fact that you at least split with them, you can feel okay. Yeah.
Now, if the Mets had taken 3 of 4, and now they're on your heels, you're going, maybe I just want the Diamondbacks to take care of them and have, them not be a worry behind you. But now you can go like, all right, if you beat the Diamondbacks once or twice, not the worst thing.
But the Dodgers, I mean, what if they get to the end of the series and the Dodgers are up 2 games in the division?
They'll have a chance to
catch. That's a hardcore battle. That's what you want. But it's tough because both those teams will really be sharpening their iron against each other. I mean, this is really good drama for the last month of the baseball season.
And, of course, the Padres get their shot at both teams over the final 6 games of the season at the end of September, 3 against the Dodgers in L.A., and then 3 against the Diamondbacks in Phoenix to conclude the regular season.
That week to wrap up the season. 3 in L.A.,
So sick.
3 in Arizona. It's got potential to be more excruciating than the playoffs. Because at least in the playoffs, you get a day off here or there.
Yeah.
To kind of recover and get ready for the next game. That's going to be 6 straight intense playoff games.
Just nuts.
All right,
nuts.
We'll take a timeout. We will come back. We've got the highlights, the calls of Jackson Merrill's home run. Jurickson Profar
this is
coming
Jackson
through
Merrill.
in the clutch as well. All of that coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone. For anyone looking for the right look at the right price, your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. I don't know. If Jackson Merrill could offer you laminate, tile, and stone, he might have the best selection around.
Hi, this is Jackson Merrill for laminate, tile, and stone. All right, sign me up, bud.
Kid can do just about anything. I don't want to put any limits on him. We've got all the highlights of yesterday's walk-off 3-2 win over the New York Mets. We'll get to that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by SDG&E. Just a couple things to mention here. Tow truck is rolling up to help out with the solo vehicle accident northbound 15 before Miramar Way. It's over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on westbound 8 near College. We have reports of some large tire tread in the right lane. And eastbound 8 Fletcher Parkway off-ramp. Stalled vehicle over the right shoulder. In peak wildfire season, as a last resort, SDG&E may need to shut off power in specific areas for public safety. Learn more about public safety power shutoffs at sdge.com/PSPS. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Yeah! Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
2-1 to Martinez, hitting the air to deep center field. Jackson Merrill's going back. He is looking up. It's going to go. Long home run to the right of straightaway center for J.D. Martinez. His 15th of the year, and the Mets strike to go ahead 1-0 here in the fourth. 3-2, there he goes. Pitch to Profar, lined up the middle, somehow caught by Iglesias, who steps on second and rolls it to first. I guess they're going to say it's a force at second, not a line out. I have no idea how that ball ended up in his glove. But not only did it, apparently on a short hop, he then reached back with his toe to hit second base and made one of the all-time great plays by his second baseman. One pitch is muscled in the air to deep right center field. Merrill, long run, going back at the wall, looking up, going to go. Home run, Mark Vientos, his 21st of the year. Second solo shot of the day for the Mets. And their lead now 2-0 here in the seventh. 2-2 again. The pitch to Profar, hit in the air, deep to right field. Taylor's backing up. It's gonna go! Jurickson Profar's career high 21st home run of the season is a game-tying shot in the bottom of the eighth. 2-0 pitch from Diaz. Jackson swings, hits it in the air, deep to right field. He has done it again. Unbelievable! Jackson Merrill with his second walk-off home run of the year. And the Padres come all the way back and beat the Mets 3-2.
Yeah, it's crunch time, and we just wanted to fight. I don't think we wanted to let them get away with it easy. They kind of had a number during the year. They won the season series against us. We don't like that. So, just come out, play hard to the last minute we got against them.
Jackson Merrill doing it again. You can break it down any way you want it. The numbers are ridiculous now. His second walk-off home run, his sixth game-tying or go-ahead home run in the eighth inning or beyond, which is a new record, more than Mel Ott. 5 home runs in the ninth inning or beyond, which is a new record for 21-year-olds as well. Just unbelievable what he is doing in his rookie season in every single big moment. And Jackson Merrill lifts the Padres to a 3-2 win over the New York Mets. But I wanted to start, Woods, and tell me if you agree with me. Yesterday's game was how Mike Schilt probably will manage a playoff game.
Yeah,
if it gets to that.
Look,
he was aggressive with his bullpen. So Martin Perez was good for the first, 3 2/3 innings. Yeah, what more can you ask of Martin Perez? Keeps the Mets scoreless.
He gives up a solo shot. That's what he does. And he gives up a solo shot.
He gives up a solo shot. And if this was a couple of months ago or maybe a different pitcher, My guess is Mike Schilt just kind of rolls the dice and lets him ride and tries to get another inning or two out of him. But,
well, and also, had we won the first 3 games of the series, 100%.
Yep.
He's going to go out there and wear it and have the bullpen fresh and ready.
After he then walks the bases loaded, Schilt's gone, nope, we got to go aggressively, and goes to his bullpen and brings in Brian Hoeing, who,
my God,
maybe the hidden at-bat of the game. I mean, not that hidden, but Francisco Lindor, who had hit a grand slam the day before, comes up with the bases loaded. He didn't just strike him out. I mean, he made a legitimate MVP candidate look silly up there with his splitter and just what the kind of stuff that he brought. What a huge moment in that game when it could have gotten away from the Padres like Saturday's game did. Brian Hoeing keeping the Padres down 1, and then, getting through the next inning, handing it to Estrada, handing it to Adam, who did give up the one solo home run to Vientos, but then handing it to Scott and handing it to Suarez. That's how playoff baseball is managed here in the year 2024 when you have a high-leverage bullpen to go to, and that was kind of a playoff-like game for the Padres.
Gives me such great hope when you watch the success of Brian. Don't call him a throw-in Hoeing. I mean, when he came across the wire, I went, who? Who is Brian Hoeing? Languishing in Miami, and got the feedback was it's his dog, dude. He loves it, wants to pitch, and he can spot start. He's good pickup. You look at his numbers, his peripherals, and you go, all right, whatever. Just said, we need arms. We need collect outs. I mean, he's a guy that can do that for us. He's been brilliant. He's been brilliant. And he saved the game yesterday. He absolutely saved the game for the San Diego Padres and let them get back in it and eventually have a chance to win it. He has been phenomenal since he landed in America's finest city. He has been phenomenal. Phenomenal. You cannot overstate the importance of what he's done since he's gotten here.
Meanwhile, Jurickson Profar, who, has not been as hot as he was earlier in the season lately, but still seems to come up with some big moments. And what a huge one yesterday. Great call by Jesse, throwing in the fact that he is a new career high with his 21st home run. He had done 20, I think, once with the A's and once with the Rangers, but has never gotten beyond that. Up to number 21, and certainly still a month of the season left to go. So Jurickson Profar with the huge 2-run shot after the Padres really couldn't do much offensively against Jose Quintana. The rest, most of the game, gets that opportunity against Buto in the bullpen and gets it done. And it was a great at-bat, too. He fouled off a couple of pitches. It was 2-2, he was just fighting, trying to stay alive, and then finally gets the pitch that he is looking for. And I didn't know if it was going to be high enough. I mean, he seemed to know off the bat. I think it was 106 miles an hour off the bat. He crunched it. But I was going, is this going to go off the wall? Is it going to get over and just gets into that home run deck?
How many dead
in right field?
Like how many dead balls? How many balls? And we'll talk about Saturday night's game next. But how many balls did they score? Paul, you were there Saturday night.
Yeah,
they hit about 6 balls. I'm like, that's gone. Nope, not even remotely close. Now,
I think Manny had 3 to the warning track.
The Mets figured out a way to get the ball over the fence on Saturday night. The Padres did not. They just could not. I was getting fooled right and left at home when I was watching that game. But you go back to Jurickson Profar, Benny. Yeah, he's cooled off a little bit. I mean, nobody's going to continue the torrid pace of which he was on. But when you look at the team leaders for the San Diego Padres, he's got the highest average. He's scored the most runs. He's got the most home runs. He's got the most RBI. Pretty damn good. His OPS is 864.
In close and late situations, no one in baseball has been better than Jurickson Profar.
He's been spectacular. And, the Clutch brothers of Jurickson Profar and Jackson Merrill, trademark, by the way, copyright, Ben & Woods, do not disseminate without something. All right?
Paper snap.
The paper snap seals the trademark. Thank you.
That's how it works.
Clutch brothers. That's what they are. You want those guys up in late innings, needing a great AB, to get a guy on. I mean, those are the guys that I want up there. I love Manny Machado more than anything, but I'd rather have Jurickson and Jackson up there in to work a walk, even to put together a really good AB, to scorch a ball somewhere, to do the job. Those guys have been phenomenal this year. Phenomenal. And we're just nowhere without Jurickson.
So Jurickson ties the game at 2. And remember a lifetime ago in the first half of the season when the Padres would rally sometimes to tie a game and then immediately give up runs right after that?
Yeah.
Kind of nipped that problem in the bud here in the second half. One of the reasons why the Padres have gone from 500 to 16 games above 500 is fixing that problem. And Robert Suarez comes out, and I mean,
Dirty.
is 1, 2, 3 just dirty. Just no hope for the Mets in that inning. And then that sets up, of course, the winning home run against Edwin Diaz, who probably sees Padres in his nightmares as well, just like a lot of Mets fans do. And we heard Jesse's call during the Padres wrap-up. Let's listen to Don Orsillo's call because, again, I think this was one of his apps. I mean, he's had some great ones.
Epic.
This one was absolutely epic for Don.
High drive, deep right field. Merrill, madness! Walk off and Petco. Padres win it 3-2.
Had no doubt that one was going off the bat. Called it, saw it very clearly, and the excitement level. He has an ability to really inject his voice with excitement without overdriving, like without sounding like he's screaming necessarily. I mean, he is screaming, but still. But it keeps that good broadcastery oomph to it. Just
should we try it?
Oh no, I'm not gonna.
Back off the mic though. Back up. Way up.
Long drive to right field. Merrill madness.
It sounds forced. It sounds
It's hard.
forced.
It's what Don does is very difficult.
I'm just gonna hit the Merrill.
Yeah.
Madness.
Wow.
Merrill madness.
Not bad.
Well,
Not bad.
I do this with the seals.
Not bad.
But it makes your voice.
Merrill madness.
That sounds forced.
It's too forced.
It's tough.
It's tough.
You had a little Grover in there. Merrill madness.
Mad he is.
Mad he is. Merrill madness it is. It turns your voice into hamburger meat, though. Like just
My throat already
shredded
hurts just from that.
ground beef.
He's got a regimen of some sort.
There's gotta be
There's
some
teas.
honeys and
There's something.
salves
There's a
everywhere.
regimen that goes along with Don being able to do that. That's a really great skill.
Oh, I love him
Let's
so
see.
much.
We've got
Oh, he gets it, dude. He gets it. Merrill madness.
we of
It's
course
Pat Mahomes doing it, actually.
we have the sad
I'm him.
sad perspective from the New York Mets.
I
And
like
is this
that.
radio or television?
This is Mets radio.
Mets radio.
Infield back, the 2-0. Merrill swings and hits a high, deep drive to right. He's done it again. A solo home run to win the game. The Padres motor back with 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and hand the Mets a heartbreaking 3-2 loss in the finale. Jackson Merrill is a nightmare for the National League.
Yes, save that, Paulie.
Jackson Merrill is a nightmare for the National League.
I also heard on the TV call, I think it was Ron Darling who does the Mets analysis, pretty much throwing all of his Rookie of the Year weight behind Jackson Merrill. Going, he's got to be the guy. I mean, Paul Skeens, again, no offense, but you just don't have the opportunity to do what Jackson Merrill has done this year.
He's been incredible. I love Paul Skeens. What? Damn it. I knew that. I love Paul Skeens. Shut up.
How do you like it, Woods?
That sucks.
It's not even out of context.
I would
never take something out of context. I love Paul Skeens.
That wasn't like 4 months ago. That was
like 40 minutes
40
ago.
minutes ago.
I love Paul Skeens. I don't get me wrong. I love Paul Skeens. He has some videos on Instagram that I lie in bed at night and I show my son.
That sounds creepy.
You just made it creepy.
What?
God.
All right, let's go to the foreign language calls. Eduardo Ortega on the microphone. Jackson Merrill's walk-off.
Turn your
a little down.
speakers
Just
a little
tiny,
bit.
tiny,
A little bit here.
tiny bit for Eddie.
Palo por la derecha, puede ser el final. El juego va a acabar. Se va. Jackson en acción. Sí, 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 de línea. ¡Qué película! Los Padres ganan en la novena entrada, dejan en el terreno a los Mets, logran dividir la serie, le ganan a Edwin Díaz. Los Padres en pie de guerra, el playoff continúa, San Diego se mantiene.
Are they going to? Somebody makes a great point. Dub J says, if that situation comes up again, like this week in St. Louis, you don't, like, how many times is he going to be allowed to even beat you? That's why it's very important.
I said earlier, why are they not walking? I mean, you got Crony to strike out. Was that the first out?
Yeah, I mean, what a great AB.
I mean, he's not Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani.
In the ninth inning,
in the ninth inning, he is.
I mean, it's half as many home runs. 40% as many as Aaron Judge.
Yeah, but now
they all come in clutch moments.
It's the clutch, man. I think it's situationally, like, if it comes down to it, and they've got Ryan Helsley in there, and there's a base open, you're putting him on. If you're Ollie Marmol, Ollie Marmol, you're putting him on. I mean, if you don't, he's
with no one on base. You're putting that speed and the winning run on base.
Do you want him?
I don't know.
One swing to be. He's done it how many times? 6 times? 5 times? I mean, the whole team though, they were going through the litany of how many walk-offs they have. 8 this year or something insane. I think Jackson's the only one with more than 1. But I mean, 8 guys. Solano's done it. Manny's done it. Ariza's done it. Like everybody, they're spreading the wealth.
It's a deep lineup,
they can beat you in a multitude of different
can
ways.
hit one now.
Yeah, yeah. So it is just nuts. It's nuts what he's done.
Finally, we have found it this time. Our call from Korea, our friends on the Korean language Padres broadcast to wrap up our tour of the Jackson Merrill walk-offs.
이게 샌디에고의 야구입니다. 끝내기.
앙팡 트러블 잭슨 메릴. 이 선수는 겁이 없다고 말씀드렸습니다. 그리고 저는 RS가 나오기 전에 누군가 영웅 스윙. 팬들은 그걸 기대하고 있다는데 메릴이 또 충족을 합니다. 메릴이 또.
I love
Did
it.
you just say "Marry Me, Jackson"? It sounds like it.
It was. That was incredible. Just an incredible Sunday. I mean, the Rally Roach lives. He lives again. He lives.
They never
he
die.
lives. They never die. This team, bunch of cockroaches, and I mean that in the
Good
most.
catch, Paulie.
I mean that in the most loving way. You guys are a bunch of stubborn cockroaches. These San Diego Padres.
All right, when we come back, let's talk about some of the other games, good and bad, Friday and Saturday. I want to get to some of the Yu Darvish news. I think we have some of the audio, perhaps, from Yu Darvish on Friday when he returned, and we'll play some Take on Woods. Chance for you to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas, all in our next segment. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, that was a very fun first hour, and we'll have more fun to talk about on the show today. Still haven't gotten into Joe Musgrove's just brilliant performance on Friday, but we got to you got to talk about some of the bad with the good as well.
That was sensual.
Not every
Friday.
Yes,
that was literally sensual.
Just like, Joe's back.
Joe's back.
He's back.
That was great.
But not everything is perfect in the world of the San Diego Padres, and that was illustrated on Saturday night with the 7-1 loss, which was a very aggravating baseball game. I mean, as far as frustrating games go, if you're Michael King, you want to tear your hair out on that one, starting in the first inning with the ump squeezing you, and then Pete Alonso hitting a 3-chop dribbler that just kicks off the bag for a RBI double. Just so frustrating, unlucky to fall behind.
Did you see what he said to the umpire? Were you able to read his lips?
I saw him jawing, but I didn't see exactly what he said.
What he said was, stay with it. Stay with it. That two-seamer.
He gave up on the lane changer before he called it ball before it even got to home plate.
He said, stay with it. Stay with it. And, I mean, it's such good advice. It's such good advice. That thing moves a foot. So you have to see it through.
Maybe if we had Mike Winters in studio right now, we can ask him. But
pass.
I wonder if umpires do or should watch video of the guys they're about to
100%
call games with the box just to see, okay, he throws this pitch a lot that cuts. It looks like it's a ball and then cuts across the plate, and it is a strike. I need to be aware of pitches like that, coming my way and be prepared to call those correctly during the game. Then, of course, there was the fourth inning when, gave up the 2-out single, fine, and it looks like he's out of the inning on a slow liner to Manny. Just a shocking error by Manny Machado on a play.
So brutal.
I would estimate he makes, 499 out of 500 times, maybe.
Change up on him, dude. Because when he hit it, I went, "Oh, that was a scorcher." And then somebody posted the speed of it. I went, "Oh God, that was 85.5 miles an hour off the bat." Manny makes that with a blindfold on, and it was just a brain fart, and it sucked, and I hated it. And he's got to make that play because remember the early part of the year. Remember we would always talk about errors being fatal for the San Diego Padres. Ha-Seong Kim would boot one.
Bro, it's a baseball thing.
2-run homer.
You walk a guy or boot a ball, it always comes back to bite you.
It usually does.
They booted a ball and then hit a guy.
It usually does. And especially with potential MVP Francisco Lindor stepping up to the plate and Michael King just put one where you just cannot put one. And Lindor did what he's supposed to do with it. And
if the bases weren't loaded, he was trying to get ahead on the corners, missed, was down 2-0. Now you're just in an impossible spot. You've got an MVP candidate. You don't want to go 3-0, so I've got to throw a strike here. Lindor knows it. It was just the worst spot to be in for Michael King. And, at that point, he hits the grand slam. It's 5-0, and you just never get a chance to come back into it. And that's the other issue, the one that – until Ha-Seong Kim and Fernando Tatis Jr. are back, is a true weakness right now for the Padres, is the bottom, the 8-9 in the order. If it's going to be Mason McCoy and Bryce Johnson.
McCoy's played pretty well.
He has.
He has played pretty.
You can't really. You can't expect that to continue. That's a fortuitous couple of days that Mason McCoy's got on base a few times.
Well,
he didn't even do this in AAA, though.
Right. But what we said about him is
he's here for defense.
Just play defense, and he's done that. He's absolutely done that.
But even if he's doing that, at some point, if you've got the bottom of the order as Bryce Johnson and Mason McCoy,
let's be honest. Yesterday was Campy, Bryce Johnson, Mason McCoy. Campy's done not a lot lately, so you got to spell Higgy. Higgy's going to get 4 days a week, whatever. But it was black hole-ish. It felt black hole-ish yesterday when you got down to it. Now again,
it's temporary.
It's temporary.
Likely.
That's what I was just going to say. If we can, keep it together, keep our mentals in order here, we're going to be okay. Hopefully, But you've got the reinforcements coming. They've done a fine job. Look at the record, man. Look at the record. They've done a fine job. It's not what you want. It's not ideal. Okay, it's not. But you also think about some of the other teams in baseball, Ben. The big one, the Dodgers. Look what they were rolling out. Nick Ahmed, and it took guys like Gavin Lux stepping up and hitting better so they could, it would soften the blow a little bit. But a lot of teams right now, man, are scuffling. They got guys injured, and you're having to plug holes.
There's no way you can say what I'm about to say without it appearing to be a slight at those players. But, like, when you have Randy Vasquez as your fifth starter right now, Mason McCoy at short, and Bryce Johnson in right field, like, I felt it on Friday. I felt it when I was at the game on Saturday and just seeing the lineup, and you go, man, to replace those three potentially with Yu Darvish, Ha-Seong Kim, and Fernando Tatis Jr.
You feel so
in
much
September,
better.
as you can smell the playoffs,
Yeah.
it's hard not to get excited.
It is very hard not to get excited.
And keep in mind, oh, by the way, we need a contestant for Take on Woods. This would be a great time to call. The phone lines are open, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Chance to qualify for our getaway to Las Vegas. Take on Woods and our musical trivia challenge here in just a couple of minutes. Ha-Seong Kim was getting hot before he got hurt. He was actually contributing, especially against those are the kind of pitchers, the ones this weekend, the ones that sometimes are a headache for guys like Jake Cronenworth and even Jerks and Profar, the David Petersons, Jose Quintanas. Those are the guys that Ha-Seong Kim actually helps you against. Those lefty kind of not flamethrowers, and he hits those guys really, really well. I could have seen if Ha-Seong Kim was in this weekend, him having a couple of big knocks, starting rallies, maybe hitting a home run against one of those guys, giving you more of a chance early in the game. So it will be valuable when Ha-Seong Kim comes back. We've kind of learned that the hard way here when he's been gone, just how much he's been missed until he gets healthy. And hopefully that is within, we're only, 3 or 4 days away from his 10 days hopefully being up. Yeah. And hopefully he'll be healthy enough to return. And again, Tatis appears to be knocking on the door for a potential return. And while David Peralta and Bryce Johnson have helped, stem the tide while he's been gone, that's the biggest upgrade in baseball that any team can make right now, is in right field for the San Diego Padres, adding a platinum glove winner with 40 home run potential for the stretch drive and the playoff chase. No one else can even come close. Yes, there are other teams that are going to get key players back. No one's getting a Tatis back and then putting him in a spot where you're getting very little production in the bottom of the order right now.
Yeah, no question. Again, this is nothing.
You're getting a frontline starter, an MVP candidate, and a Gold Glove winner back.
Yeah. Mason McCoy's hitting
2 Gold Glove winners.
He's hitting
platinum.
Mason McCoy's hitting 385. He's on base half the time. 885 OPS, 156 OPS plus. And he's making plays at short. He's not going to.
He's done a great job.
He's not going to stay on the roster, I would imagine. He's not.
He's done a great job. That won't continue. If you have to keep rolling him out there for an extended period of time, there's a reason why he was
29
in AAA.
years old. I know.
There's a reason why he wasn't hitting in AAA.
He's
put together some good at-bats.
He has.
It's baseball. Anything can happen. You draw a walk. Hey, the pitcher doesn't throw a strike. Don't swing at it. Great job, Mason.
Yeah, great job.
He's not the guy you want to be relying on.
No.
He's not. He's nowhere near even what Ha-Seong Kim is at shortstop. I promise you.
No question.
But, again, it looks like these guys are coming back. So, hopefully this is just a very temporary issue. This road trip, obviously, continuing the, 18 games in 18 days?
It was, yes. How much is it now?
I think they're down to 8 games left. They're 10 games in.
What's their record in those 10?
They've got, I think they're 5-5.
5-5.
Yeah, I think they've got the 7 on the road, and then the 1 at home on Labor Day against Detroit. Then they get the off day on Tuesday before the rest of the series against the Tigers. So still a long way to go, and a tough, hot, humid, sticky road trip to get through. This is a dangerous week for the San Diego Padres coming forward. All right, I see a lot of callers, so let's get to it. It's time to play our game. Let's take on Woods. Look at everybody calling in. Let's go with Robert, line 1. Robert, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
All right, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes, and you don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Woods has left the studio. Robert goes first. 5 questions of musical trivia. If he can beat or tie Woods, he will qualify for our great grand prize this month, a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Carrie Underwood Reflection at Resorts World Theater. Her residency is back. It is on now through the spring. Tickets available at access.com. That's AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. Robert, your advantage. We give you the category. You can choose from these 3. Sister acts. 5 different bands or artists with sister in their name. Genesis, all about the band Genesis. And our new category, Tier 1 submitted, POTUS, 5 bands and musical artists that include a former president in their name. So, sister acts, Genesis, or POTUS, Robert, what's it going to be?
Ooh, between sister and POTUS. I'll go with POTUS.
POTUS. All right, today's category submitted by Tier 1 Paul. Not you, Paul, but thank you to Paul out there who gave us this category. It is 5 bands and musical artists that include a former U.S. president somewhere in their name. Very timely here in our election year. You'll have 60 seconds to answer as many of the 5 as possible. If you don't know an answer, you can always pass it. We'll come back if there's time left on the clock. First question's the 2-second song. Paulie is queuing up some music. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist to score that point, and we'll go on from there. Robert, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Again, the category POTUS, a presidential name in every musical artist here. All right, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Robert. Let's take on Woods.
Pass for now.
Carole King won a 1971 Song of the Year Grammy for You've Got a Friend, but which artist won the Best Male Pop Vocal Performance that same year for singing that very song?
Also pass.
All right, which 60s psychedelic rock band from San Francisco cracked Rolling Stone's all-time top 500 with 2 songs from the same album, White Rabbit and Somebody to Love?
Jefferson Airplane.
Correct. What pioneer of funk and rock and roll Hall of Famer helped form the Parliament Funkadelic Collective of the 1970s?
George Clinton.
Correct. Formed in 1978, which San Francisco punk band recorded hits including Holiday in Cambodia and California Uber Alles?
Ooh, pass.
All right, back to the 2-second song.
I've literally never heard that song.
That's all right. All right, you did get 2. We got Jefferson Airplane and George Clinton. That song was Machine Head by Bush. And then James Taylor sang You've Got a Friend. And then Dead Kennedys are Holiday in Cambodia and California Uber Alles. Hang on the line, Robert. 2 is your score. We'll bring Woods back in. I think you'll get this one, but we'll see. Very tricky category, I will say that.
And I don't get it.
I will. You don't get the category, and
Nope.
I'd be if you can figure out the category, I'll be very impressed.
Why don't you pipe down?
But the songs, I think you can do. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Robert.
Machine Head by Bush.
Correct. Carole King won a 1971 Song of the Year Grammy for You've Got a Friend, but which artist won the Best Male Pop Vocal Performance that same year for singing that very song?
Is it James Taylor?
It is, correct. Which 60s psychedelic rock band from San Francisco cracked Rolling Stone's all-time top 500 with 2 songs from the same album, White Rabbit and Somebody to Love?
Jefferson Airplane.
Correct. Which pioneer of funk and rock and roll Hall of Famer helped form the Parliament Funkadelic?
George Clinton.
Correct. Formed in 1978, which San Francisco punk band recorded hits including Holiday in Cambodia and California Uber Alles?
That's, these are clearly presidents.
Ah, you do know the category.
California Uber. Why am I always blank on the 5th?
You know the category, and you don't.
Oh, Dead Kennedy.
Yes. He got the category. He got them all right. Robert, you ran into the buzzsaw today that is Woods. 5-2 win.
California Uber Alles. California Uber Alles.
Bush, Taylor, Jefferson, Clinton, and Kennedy.
Yep. Very good.
Bush. That was
Bush,
Tier 1.
Bush,
Paul
Bush.
submitted that one.
That's a very good.
That's a clever category.
Very
POTUS
good category.
is what that one was called.
Very good category.
Paul, thank you very much. That was fun to play.
California Uber Alles. So good.
You don't want
somebody to love.
You don't sound like a
cable
Dead
guy.
Kennedys fan the way you're singing that song.
I don't hate the Dead Kennedys. I really don't. I don't. I just never was never. This might surprise you.
Never a punk.
Well, no. I mean, there's some punk music I like, but I was never
Ramones.
that angry.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I had angst, but it was more like the Cure type of angst. It wasn't like I hate my parents. I'm going to kill the establishment. I lived in Connecticut. Like, what do you have to be a punk about in Connecticut and Texas? I just didn't. It's not that I don't like it. It just never resonated really. I wasn't that mad. I was kind of happy.
We'll have another game for you coming up tomorrow. Next, though, don't do this, Woods.
Oh, we've got some audio of a very salty Met fan. He also happens to be a big name broadcaster in New York City. We'll play that for you.
And our friend Katie Wu, covering the Cardinals, will join us at the bottom of the
That's
hour.
a do this if I've
For
ever
sure.
heard one.
All ahead after a check of traffic with Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, we'll start. Don't do this today. Talking about coaches who have trouble dealing with the media. And, of course, I am speaking of none other than Deion Sanders, a guy who really should know better. I mean, he's been in the media for quite a while before taking over as head coach at Colorado. Had the whirlwind start. I mean, he won 3 or 4 games right at the start, got everyone excited. After that, it's been nothing but a disaster for Deion Sanders at Colorado. And that continued with a story this weekend.
It's really rough. It's gone really poorly.
The University of Colorado football program has banned Denver Post columnist Sean Keeler from asking questions of Deion Sanders or any other member of the football program, and the school confirmed that on Friday. Obviously, this is a Coach Prime decision. Now, Keeler, he's been tough on Deion. I mean, he has written things saying this is the Bruce Lee of BS, a false prophet, the Deion Kool-Aid. People are drinking the Deion Kool-Aid. But he's got plenty of evidence to back up his opinion. And his job as a columnist is to offer his opinion on teams he covers. And it's been negative. But he's also a reporter who's credentialed and, should be allowed to ask questions. And then you answer the question however you want to answer it. You can push back. You can say whatever you want. But to be so soft as to say you can't even ask a question of anybody because we don't like what you're writing just screams insecurity, screams of a program that's headed in the wrong direction. And I would not be shocked at this point if this is Deion's last season at Colorado. If it does not turn around pretty quickly.
Yeah, his son's going to go to the NFL, yeah?
Yeah, after this year.
Yeah,
maybe. We'll see.
It's so weird, man, the duality of Deion Sanders. It really is, because we all saw some of his we all heard how he dealt with some students. With some students, he's like the most elite coach you've ever seen. With the kids that he took over and inherited, he wasn't really great with.
Tossed him aside without a lot of care or feeling.
And I understand, wanting to build your own team and put your mark on it. I understand that. You're absolutely entitled to do it. You are entitled to do that. You'd see and hear these stories and these great lessons that he would teach, and then you hear this stuff and you go, is it all just BS? Is it all just pinging the BS meter? Well, for me, speaking for myself, the meter has been pinged a lot more lately than it was when he first started. I thought, what a refreshing scene for Colorado. And he look, man, he did the job. As far as getting asses in the seats, he did that.
I know there's some people who will go, well, the guy's critical. He's writing nasty things. Why would you answer questions? Here's the right way to handle that. You answer a question that is asked by anyone in a professional manner. Give your honest opinion. And if you want to silence the criticism, you go out and you get it done on the field. And there's nothing that will make Sean Keeler look sillier than a 9-3 season.
Yeah.
And
a decent bowl game.
And everything going well for the Colorado program. That's the only way you can answer his criticism. But by silencing him and not allowing him to ask questions, you just look weak and petty.
Yeah, 100%, man. All right, so Joe Musgrove lives in San Diego. He's from San Diego, but he owns a very, very large piece of New York. He owns a very large piece of New York. Joe Musgrove is enemy number one. We all remember what happened in the playoffs. Buck Showalter wanted to question his ears, the shiny ears. Umpires went out. They fingered lightly his ears. Fingered it. Right there on the mound. Just rubbing their hands gently over his ears.
To this day, one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on a baseball
100%.
field.
He was pissed off. They didn't find anything. He stayed in the game. Ended up shoving it. Ended up shoving on Saturday night, or on Friday night, which we have not talked about yet, and we will. It was a sensual experience at Petco Park, I imagine, on Friday night, watching that performance. So after yesterday's game, Evan Roberts, who's a huge, huge radio personality in New York. He works with Tiki Barber, I believe.
He's our colleague.
And he had this to say on his little post-game YouTube.
They disappear. We saw it against Dirty Joe Musgrove a few nights earlier when they got 2 hit by that punk.
Ooh.
And here on Sunday afternoon, when they get Martin Perez out of the game in the 4th inning, and they go through the entire San Diego Padre bullpen, they manage 2 solo home runs.
So he's ripping his team, right, for being terrible, but he's talking about dirty Joe Musgrove and calling Joe Musgrove a punk. Now, Joe Musgrove, he wouldn't do it, but he would wipe the floor with this guy.
Shove him into a locker.
He would literally stuff him in a mayonnaise jar if push came to shove.
They disappear.
Dirty?
We saw it against dirty Joe Musgrove a few nights earlier when they got 2 hit by that punk.
Punk. Bro, you don't say that about another man like that. You just don't.
This is a narrative that confuses me because I saw a tweet that I had to respond to on Friday from another radio and New York Post guy named Dan Bartels, who I had never heard of, but he had a picture of the umps checking Joe's ears from that playoff game. He said, "Some of us never forget."
I retweeted it too.
Yeah, and I tweeted, "Apparently you have forgotten. If you remember this as something other than a huge embarrassment for the Mets."
Yes, it was huge.
If no one had checked his ears, and you could go ahead and say, he got away with something. No one looked at his ears. They were shiny. The umpires went out with a fine-tooth comb. They rubbed on his ears. They checked. There was nothing wrong. You can't go with that narrative anymore. You had your chance. Nothing was found. They let him pitch. He dominated. And it just ended up being an embarrassment for the Mets. How do you continue on this storyline? You were proven wrong. You were proven wrong 2 years ago. You can't now point back and go, remember when he was cheating? No, they already proved wrong. They checked. There was nothing there.
He absolutely owns it.
I don't get it.
Do you guys have one guess as to the team in Major League Baseball that has had the most players suspended for sticky stuff? I'm going to give you one guess.
Now, Brian Kenny probably told me it was the Padres.
It is not. They play in Queens. They are the New York Mets. Max Scherzer, Blanco.
Padres have only had one player suspended,
yeah,
right?
It was Robert Suarez.
When he was coming back from injury.
Yeah.
All right, finally, a little do this quickly.
Mega doo-doo.
And Diaz was suspended. 10 games.
Just a congratulations to the Lake Mary Little League of Florida for a dramatic 8-inning, 2-1 win over Taiwan, Chinese Taipei, in the championship game of the Little League World Series yesterday. Woods, they were down 1-0 from the first inning all the way until 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th, down to their last out. Came through with the RBI single to force extra innings. Went to the 8th, where apparently the Manfred man also exists in Little League. I did not know that. They put the free runner out on second base. Taiwan did not score in the top of the inning. So they try to bunt the runner over from second to third. Lays down a really nice one on the first base side. The pitcher goes and grabs it and tries to get the runner at first. Unfortunately, the first baseman also went for it, and there was no one covering first. And he threw it straight into the outfield, and the winning run came around to score.
Oh, man.
As the U.S. And Paulie said, don't they usually lose the championship game?
They play the U.S. pool
Yeah.
and the international
and then the international
pool.
winner. And for many years, the international teams, Japan, dominated. 6 wins in a row for the U.S. at the Little League World Series. So congratulations. By the way, that was the same Little League that Parkview beat for their championship, Chinese Taipei, and their 6-3 win 15 years ago when they won one for San Diego and brought home the title here.
You know, and I'm sure there's a lot of dads out there listening and moms as well. I don't let my mind go to my son or sons playing in the big leagues. I just don't. It's minuscule. I do let my mind wander to them playing on ESPN one day in the Little League World Series. My mind does wander there.
It may be as hard to get to the Little League World Series as it is to get to the big leagues.
You're not kidding.
You have to win so many tournaments. I mean, so many games to get there.
When I watched some of it with Bo, he was more into that than he has been in watching Padre games lately. He was like, "Oh, they're just a little bit bigger than me, and they're on ESPN." And my mind absolutely does wander there.
The Lake Mary shortstop made a
oh my God, I saw
Ha-Sung Kim
play up the middle.
He dove to his left, did like a Trey Turner slide, spin, throw. You're thinking, there's no way this is within 20 feet of the first baseman. Perfect throw. I think it was the ESPN number 3 play on the Web Gems, and whoever was hosting SportsCenter goes, "How is that not number 1? He's a kid.
He's a kid.
He makes this play. How is that not number 1?"
It was fantastic, dude. Fantastic.
All right, let's take a break because when we come back, I know we haven't finished talking about the weekend. We're gonna look ahead a little early because we got Katie Wu, who covers the Cardinals for The Athletic. I had forgotten totally. Of course, this is a Mike Schilt return against his former team in St. Louis.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's big. He's going back.
You don't think there's a little extra juice in
Under
old
the arch
Shilty,
for the next 4 days.
If I'm Mike Schilt, I'm staying away from coffee entirely for 4 days.
How about
I'm just
that?
staying away because he's going to be amped enough.
That's coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. Padres headed to New Busch for the next 4 days to take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Katie Wu covers them for The Athletic, and we will be joined by Katie right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Hold It Contemporary Home. Just a couple problems here. Northbound 5 before Hawthorne. We have reports of a collision involving a couple vehicles. It's in the center divide. And traveling on the South 5 coastline before Poinsettia. Accident involving a motorcycle. They've just cleared that over to the right shoulder. Join Hold It Contemporary Home for their giant tent sale in Mission Valley this Labor Day weekend. Save big on Italian designs, including living, dining, bedroom, and outdoor furniture. Visit holdithome.com for more details and see you in their parking lot this Saturday through Monday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So the St. Louis Cardinals are not out of it. They're 5 games out of a playoff spot, but it's time. They need to go on a bit of a winning streak like they did in 2021 when Mike Schilt led them to 17 straight victories and the playoffs. And we're joined right now covering the team for The Athletic. Our friend Katie Wu is in St. Louis. Hi, Katie.
My beloved Angels, can you hear me all okay?
We've got you perfect. How are you?
Amazing. It's like you have to be like a NASA scientist to figure out Polly's directions and how to get hooked up to the audio. I was very nervous, but it is so great to see you all. How are you guys?
It's great to see you as well. We are doing very well. How hot and sticky and gross is it in St. Louis today? That's where I want to start.
We'll put it this way. Dennis Lynn texted me yesterday and said that he changed his mind. He will not be attending the series after one look at the weather. So I hope you guys are enjoying your perfect sunshine and your perfect state because it's miserable here.
It is
very sweaty.
I always think about the guys. We played a game yesterday. It was 100. It was like 90 degrees.
Bro, it's 9:42 out there right now.
Yeah.
It's 86 degrees.
86, just all humidity. And I thought about the guys. I almost vomited when I got to first base and had to take a pinch runner. And I'm like, man, these guys got to go do it out there every single day.
97 today, 100 tomorrow, 96 and rain on Wednesday.
This is unreal.
Oh, rain?
Yeah, rain.
I didn't even know there was rain. This state is not real. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't exist.
Well, our teams, I will say this: the St. Louis Cardinals are sitting there at 500 right now. I think 65 and 65. And I'm telling you, 2 months ago, Katie, I thought, when we talked to Katie Wu, we're going to be sitting here at 2 500 teams. I mean, period, the end. That's exactly what I thought. The only difference is the Padres have had a run. The Cardinals haven't really had that run that has put them over. What's gone right and what's gone wrong? And you got to do something right to be, at 500.
I think it's just kind of baffling to see where the Cardinals are where they are, because when you think about their lineup and the people that should have been powering their offense, none of them really have. I mean, just in the week alone, the Cardinals optioned Jordan Walker back down to AAA. They sent Nolan Gorman, who is supposed to be their big power hitting second baseman from the left side. He's back in Memphis. Wilson Contreras broke his finger on Saturday. And the hits just keep coming, and credit to the Cardinals. They keep finding ways to win pivotal series. The big thing with the Cardinals is they have been unable to go on that run. Like you said, Woodsy, they've had one win streak of above 5 games. Everything else has been win 2, lose 2, very 500. So I think this is exactly kind of where they were built to be. That they're able to stay afloat in what has been a really chaotic and honestly not very good August is commendable. But man, what a big hole they're in September. It's certainly not going to get any easier with Mike Schilt and his soaring Padres coming into town for 4.
I want to ask you about Mike Schilt. When the Cardinals came to town, was right in the beginning of April, so very early in the season, and we're more focused on the Padres. But this is a pretty big return here for Mike Schilt to St. Louis. What's kind of the talk about having him back after his time as manager of the Cardinals, how it ended, and now he's returning with a playoff contending team?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're Mike Schilt, you're feeling a lot of emotions right now. It's his first time back in St. Louis since he was unceremoniously and kind of shockingly fired after that 17-game winning streak in 2021 to take the Cardinals to the wild card series. And he hasn't been back since. And there's obviously going to be a lot of feelings there, a lot of emotion. But I think if you're Mike Schilt, you're coming in there with a squad that has been one of the best teams since the second half. I mean, the Padres just keep finding ways to win. It's insane. I don't know how you guys keep doing it. Maybe the Cardinals could take some notes. I think there'll
maybe
be a
not
lot
this
of
week.
a lot of emotion for Schulte there. I don't necessarily envision a tribute video because I think that would just be kind of awkward. But I do expect him to get a pretty significant standing ovation. I don't know when he's exchanging the lineup cards at home plate if he does that with Ollie Marmol, who he remains friends with. So we'll see. But I'm sure there's a lot of meaning behind this series for Schulte. He was a Cardinals farmhand through and through. Spent 20 years, a lifer. Never expected to leave the organization, but life comes at you fast. So we'll see how he handles it. But no doubt about it, a pivotal series for both St. Louis and San Diego. Honestly, the Padres, with a convincing series, have a chance to kind of put the dagger in the Cardinals season right now. So I'm sure that's an opportunity Mike Schulte will relish. But the Cardinals have been playing better baseball, much more competitive games. So we will see.
Who has been, and I know there was a lot of talk in the offseason about the moves that they made. They added some guys that were maybe a little bit longer in the tooth, but can go out and eat innings. What has been as far as the pitching side goes, what has kind of been the weakness for them? Because I know a lot of people are like, man, Lance Lynn and these guys, but he's actually, I think, pitched okay, if I'm not mistaken. And they've added, some of those guys that go out there and they can chew up 6-7 innings. Doesn't mean you're always going to win the game, but what has kind of been the weakness pitching for them?
I think finding consistency. Sonny Gray has been everything as advertised, except for his home run rate has skyrocketed. And you were expecting that home run rate to go up a little bit. He only allowed 8 last year. But pitching at a pitcher-friendly park like Busch Stadium for half your games, there actually hasn't really been much of a difference there. He's just been on the road, giving up a lot of home runs in the 3-run variety. So not what you want to do if you're Sonny Gray. No. Kyle Gibson's been a nice addition. He provides that length, that veteran experience you're talking about. And Lance Lynn was doing the same. He's actually on the IL right now with a right knee injury, but he's throwing live BP 3 o'clock today. Big ticket item at New Busch. So, I think it's just about finding consistency. Miles Michaelis has had a very up and down season. Their best pitcher right now, for all the talk about veteran leadership and experience, has been Andre Palante, who is 25 years old, bounced up and down throughout the rotation before, got called up from AAA, and has absolutely shoved since. So that's just kind of the unpredictable nature of baseball. You build this rotation with a bunch of guys over 30 that have this experience that, you can really trust to deliver innings, and you're relying on this 25-year-old guy that came up out of nowhere in May and hasn't really gone down since.
Katie Wu from The Athletic is joining us from her stylish kitchen here in St. Louis on 97.3 The Fan. And I'm going to ask the question that Woods really wants to know the answer to. Ollie Marmol, I believe, signed a 2-year contract extension back in spring training, but the results have not been typical for a St. Louis Cardinals manager. They usually expect more. Is his job potentially on the hot seat here at the end of the season? And if it is, will they hire Woodsy's idol Skip Schumacher as the next manager of the Cardinals when he leaves the Marlins at the end of the season?
I think Skip Schumacher will be a very hot commodity.
He's already a very hot commodity. Okay, if he never manages again, he's a very hot commodity.
You didn't even have to say the word commodity.
He's a very hot.
Oh, I hate you guys. Yeah, so I think no matter where he goes, or if there's an opening, regardless, any team is going to interview him. Why not? For the Cardinals, though, it gets a little complicated because the president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak, has already pledged that he's going to step down from his position after the end of the 2025 season and kind of phase out. If you know that, if you have this in your plans for the Cardinals who preach, consistency and stability, I can't see them make a managerial change at the end of the 2024 season, because your new front office in 2026, whether that's internally or externally coming in, is going to want to hire their own manager as well. So that's a lot of turnover for an organization that's already had a significant amount in terms of managers. We will see. I think it all kind of depends on what the Cardinals do to end the season. If they go out and make a run and do their typical September insanity and sneak into the playoffs, then everyone's probably safe for one more year. But think about it this way, guys. Out here in baseball heaven, the Cardinals have not posted back-to-back losing seasons since 162-game seasons were implemented. So it's quite literally never happened in a full season before, back-to-back, and they are flirting with a very dangerous line. Who doesn't love to flirt? But this is kind of the dangerous one that they're doing here in the final 5 weeks of the season.
That is insane. When you really, really think about that. That's such a tremendous amount of pressure, I would imagine, being a big league manager anyway. But to have that lurking over you is insane to think about.
Padres haven't done it since they did it from 2011 through 2019 consecutively. So,
crazy.
Yeah, we're trying to make new records here, Katie. Good ones. So how's Arenado been? How has, I'm sure this is the clash of the Titans, Manny against Nolan. Nolan always seems to play pretty well against the Pods. I know he's had a bit of a down season for him. Goldschmidt as well. Would not like to see either of those guys get hot because they're still really good baseball players in both of those dudes.
Yeah, it's been a tough year, especially for Goldschmidt. We'll start with Arenado because his first half was arguably his worst ever first half. He had his second lowest OPS in a full season, second only to when he was a rookie in 2013. And he'd be the first to say that he just wasn't good in the first half. Had just 8 home runs, was not helping an offense that was already scuffling. This Cardinals offense is brutal to watch sometimes, especially against left-handed pitchers, which is crazy when you think about all the right-handed power they allegedly have. So when you're thinking of Arenado, you're looking at his August, and all of a sudden you're seeing a much more indicative sights of Nolan being Nolan, right? So his OPS is back up to 850 this month. He slugged a key walk-off grand slam against the Brewers on Wednesday. He's looked more and more like Nolan. I'm sure just for you, Woodsy, he'll go off this series.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure you'll love to see it.
I'm sure.
Goldschmidt, though, different story. He's been struggling all year. For as good as, Arenado's walk-off grand slam on Wednesday was, Goldschmidt struck out with the bases loaded in the 9th. In a 1-out situation, all you have to do is put the ball in the outfield or somewhere, and he couldn't do that. And it's been just kind of the story of his season. It's been disappointing. It's been frustrating. You feel for Goldschmidt and all he's done for, not just the Cardinals, but I think baseball in general, being just a poster of positivity and good influence for the league. But he just has not been able to figure anything out offensively this year. It's kind of been the microcosm of the Cardinal series. They just can't figure out a way to score runs. And that Padres pitching staff is really good. I looked at the probable starters. They don't have an easy matchup at all this series. So we'll see how that goes.
So who is the Cardinal that Padres fans are going to be annoyed by over the next 4 days? I feel like it used to be Tommy Edman, the San Diego kid, but he's been traded to the Dodgers, so he's gone. Who's the under-the-skin player that we need to watch out for?
She just said he got hurt. He hurt his finger, Contreras.
So he's not, obviously, but there's someone that's going to play that I want to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, I was actually going to say Contreras, and then I remembered that he was hurt. Yeah. So obviously I'm firing on all cylinders this morning. I'm going to go with Mason Wynn. This is a 22-year-old stud. I mean, he plays with some swagger that you don't normally see in St. Louis. He's edgy. He's himself. He's fun to watch. I think I just lost you guys.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Amazing. But definitely Mason Wynn. He's kind of a pest, and he plays a really solid shortstop. He has a lethal arm. He slugs lefties. He's probably one of the only Cardinals that can hit left-handed pitching consistently. And I think it's just his swagger and his edge that really makes him stand out, because it's not your typical Cardinal shortstop that you see. You're seeing kind of a new era of the young guys in Mason Wynn, Victor Scott in center field. That's who I'm watching out if I'm a Padres fan.
Well, hey, do us a favor. When you go down today, give Schulte a big old hug from us. And tell him that we're thinking about him and to go out and get, well, you're not going to tell him to go out and get some dubs, but tell him we said.
See if you can lift him up like Jackson Merrill did after the walk-off home run, too. Like pick him up off the ground.
He would love that.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I'm so strong. I could do that.
All right. Give him our love, Katie.
You got it, guys. So great to hear from you.
Thank you.
Katie Wu from The Athletic. Always just the best. She's the best. Yeah, Mason Wynn is, he spells Mason with a Y. Which is weird, M-A-S-Y-N, but it's just Mason.
M-A-Y-S-O-N, right?
No, it's M-A-S-Y-N, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Mason.
Mason.
Which is just annoying kind of to start, so I can see why he's going to be the player that gets under our skin the next couple of days. He is a good player.
Good player, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like you mentioned, they have negative 56 run differentials. They've kind of won a lot of close games just to get to 500. But they're there. I mean, if they had a great September, they could threaten that last wild card spot. And they need, like Katie said, the Padres can pretty much put the dagger in their hearts here with, taking 3 out of 4 or something. But they're still thinking, like, hey, if we're going to run, we could still make the playoffs in St. Louis.
How about Matt Carpenter being on their team and active, I believe? How about Tommy Pham being on their team as well? Alec Burleson's a good player. Like she said, Goldschmidt's been having a rough year, but it's Paul Goldschmidt. There's no easy games, man. There's just no easy matchups. All the guys she mentioned, in Sonny Gray, the other rookie that she mentioned, he'll be taking us on. We've got him against. Let's see, the matchups are as follows. Today you got Kyle Gibson. Tomorrow you got Miles Michaelis. Then you've got Palante, who she mentions really, really good. And then you got Sonny Gray. And so, yeah, no joke.
Everyone in the chat is just so fixated on Katie's looks. Yes, she's very attractive. But people in the chat just can't seem to get over the fact. Katie's gorgeous. I just keep looking at the chat.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But she's very
a
knowledgeable
great
about
person.
baseball. That's why we have her on.
Correct.
Thank you, Katie. Really appreciate it. All right, we'll come back.
Oh,
Woodsy
my God.
maybe moving to Manchester, England
Correct.
shortly, and we'll explain why next here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I am Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl, the executive producer. To my left is Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. And,
Did you ever find yourself looking at the YouTube stream and trying to fix your hair?
Yeah,
I do that
absolutely.
too,
I
yeah.
do it a lot. And trying to get the right coloring and all of that.
The headphones muss up the hair.
Yeah,
it's
they
really
do.
hard. It's tough. It's a job hazard.
Yeah, I try to keep my head down so that you don't see my gullet. So that's one of the things I'm constantly looking at.
Head down.
Yeah, head down. Look. See?
Oh, you kind of hide it.
So if I do this,
but if you lean up and stretch out, you can sort of
see the
eliminate the gullet,
the little gobbler. So, but if you go head down, yeah, exactly.
Oh, Thanksgiving's not that far
It's
away.
not.
It's
It is
I'm
not
hungry for turkey.
That far away. I told you guys when we opened the show, it was really a spectacular weekend. I think for the whole program. You Darvish wearing our shirt in his, coming back party, and that was a really cool moment for us. Was wearing the Ben and Wood shirt. It just made my heart swell. And we had a Tier 1 walk-off victory, our very first walk-off ever, which was amazing. And then get in the car. The Padres walk it off against the Mets and Edwin Diaz. Timmy Trumpets, as it were. Timmy Trumpets, the great intro song for a great closer. Check it out. Oh, no. Yeah. So we took it to him, which was great. But I think out of all of the things that made me squeal this weekend is when I saw the news, and I'd seen this news, it happens every 6 months or so, that one of my favorite bands of all time, the great Oasis, is reuniting.
But you believe it this time.
This time I believe it. And the reason that I do is they tweeted the date of tomorrow. Liam Gallagher and his brother Noel, longtime
8/27/24.
Now again, somebody tweeted earlier, what if it's just Fortnite skins that they're promoting, right? Like, hey, we got a new box set out. So yeah, you texted me.
Tell me about Oasis.
Oh,
what's the story here?
So
I've heard of the band.
Sure,
obviously.
yeah. So this is kind of cool what happened to me years ago, 1994. Me and my buddy drive down to the mall to go to Sound Warehouse and to look at CDs. Run into a guy I graduated with, I'll never forget it, guy by the name of Kevin Diaz. And he says, Woodsy, he goes, have you heard of these guys? And he holds up this album, Definitely Maybe. And I go, no. He goes, they're from England. They're all swagger, good rock and roll, proper rock and roll band. And I said, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. So I bought it, didn't listen to it. He goes, by the way, they're here tonight. They're here in Dallas. And I said, yeah, I can't make it tonight. Bro, they played to like 50 people. They were just starting. So I missed that one. And listened to the record, loved the record, loved it. And then have followed them ever since. They split up in 2009. Now they're brothers.
This is why, because I don't know the story at all, but I knew that they're brothers. I can see where, friends have a falling out,
Sure.
but they're family.
Yeah, they're family.
Sometimes family's tough, but what happened that things got so bad you can't even continue on as a successful band with your brother?
So you've got the songwriter in Noel Gallagher, and he is the architect of the band. Did all the marketing, the album covers. He was the brains of the operation. He would write these songs. They don't sound the same when he sings them. They just don't. And his brother, Liam, doesn't play an instrument, is just all attitude, all D&B, and he rubbed him the wrong way for many, many. He's his little brother, right? I mean, you've got kids. My two boys, I'm like, oh my God, do you guys like each other at all? Do you like each other even a little bit? So you're on the road. There's marriages, there's divorces, there's drugs, there's all kinds of stuff. And after a while, Noah goes, I'm done.
So it's jealousy.
They go, well, no, I think it was like, I'm the talent. I'm going to take the talent away and you're going to disappear. And they've both forged on with really good, successful solo careers. And I've always been a Liam guy.
I was going to ask, was there a split in the fan base?
Oh,
when
yeah.
They broke up?
Yeah.
And whose
so
path did you follow?
You are a Liam guy.
I'm a Liam
even though
guy.
he's not the one who's writing the songs.
Yeah, he's the attitude. He's the guy that literally does not care about anything. And it's weird. I was actually talking to my therapist about this. I said, my heroes are the ones, all my heroes, the people I look up to musically, literary, whatever guys I admire. They've all had the attitude of, I don't care what you say. Now, I care so much. I care so much. So the people that I look up to are the people with the attitude and the swagger that don't have that. They just don't care. And they're both immensely talented at what they do. Now, they both had good solo careers. I followed them both. I took Bo to see Noel last year. It was amazing. I've seen Liam play with Foo Fighters and Queens of the Stone Age. One of the best shows I've ever been to in my life.
Good God.
They both sound great. They're both Noel's writing great songs. Liam's still singing great songs. He doesn't write all of his own music. For me, man, this band was me and my little brother's band. And so,
do they even go back to spend Christmas with the families and stuff, or how bad did it get? Do we know?
It got bad. It got really bad. And they would, Liam's just kind of, they call it in England, they call it taking the piss. He just likes to mess with him. He calls him a potato. He just messes with him. And Noel's this stodgy, he lives in a castle. So here's the rumor. Noel Gallagher got divorced. That divorce is going to cost him 20 million pounds. Okay? He's going to lose that. The reported offer for a tour is like $400 million. They're each going to make about 100 million pounds. Sorry, pounds. So he's going to be able to cover his divorce and then some. The thing that bugs me is, have they really reconciled, or are they just doing this for the money?
It doesn't matter.
I guess I don't care, but you want to see.
Said 20 million pounds?
Yeah.
That's over $26 million.
Yeah, that's what
pounds are worth more than dollars.
That's what she's going to get in the divorce. And so, yeah, he needs the money, but the rumors have been going for years that they talk. Also, the other rumor was that Noel's wife was the one that did not like Liam. And now that Noel's divorced, well, it opens up the lines of communication. So that you can see that happening. That's happened in families before. So for all intents and purposes, man, they should be on the comeback trail, and it's supposed to be announced tomorrow. Now, the rumors I'm hearing, 10 nights at Wembley next year. My 50th is next year. This, for me, is really special. I texted my brother yesterday. So we lived in Chicago together. We had a Gallagher-like fight, fist fight, gnarly. I had tickets for us to go see Oasis. I took a buddy instead. I broke his heart.
Oh.
And he was devastated.
Monster.
Broke his heart. Oh, I wanted to. That was my goal. Yeah. I wanted to hurt him. And I did. So I texted him yesterday. I sent him the tweet and I said, I owe you one. And I said, for my 50th next year, me and you, England. If they don't tour anywhere else, yeah, we're going to go. And he's like, I'm in. Just like that. Just wrote,
Is there any room
I'm
on
in.
the dates?
No.
Will you take the equipment and do the show from England?
Cheers, bruv. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't start until 2 p.m. in England,
but,
so you get that.
But I am absolutely going one way or the other. And I'm just so excited. And if this is not, last night Hannah goes, I'm begging you to shut the F up about Oasis. I'm begging you. I go, I can't. You believe this and this. And so it's a huge, huge deal. The tickets are going to be insane. I don't know how I'm going to swing it, but I got DMs out. I got all kinds of stuff.
We know how much you paid to see U2 already at the
exorbitant. But
One
it
of
was
the
like
first shows.
It was like a moment in time. Like I got to go to that, so I didn't regret it for a second, and I won't regret this one either. So I'm just elated that they're back together. I don't care if they make new music. I just want to see them play a 3-hour set and be together and sing all the songs that I love that have meant so much to me.
So Jeff in the chat asks a very interesting question. He says, I wonder what it would take to create an Oasis-like fight between Ben and Woods. What could possibly be so bad that they would break up and not talk for years?
I don't see anything. You're not a fighter. And you're very patient with me, so I don't. And I'm not like a dictator either. So I think there's no dictate. There's no.
You don't think you're like a dictator?
There's no dictatorship in here. There's no dictatorship.
You don't think you like to, once you've decided something, that you don't want to make sure that it always happens?
Do I crap?
Has there ever been a situation where you have decided something and then we overruled you?
Do I?
Isn't that the definition of a dictatorship in this room? Paulie?
Do I crap on your bad ideas? The answer is yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
But I do it for a reason.
I guess to answer Ben's question, No, we have never talked Woods out of something.
Anything at all.
Ever.
Just because we go along with it doesn't mean it's
I
not.
write the songs, okay?
It's not a
I write
dictatorship.
the songs.
Just because the peasants are somewhat happy with the situation doesn't make it any less of a dictatorship. Peasants are going along with it. Things are good. The crops are coming in. It's not a cruel and evil dictatorship.
If it weren't for me, we would be interviewing the Aztecs punter right now. Right now at this moment. Right now. I promise you.
Yeah, big game coming up this
The
Saturday.
D-line coordinator, if it was
Texas
left
Commerce.
up to Ben, we should do a week where I have no say. You guys
you
don't
just
tell
show
me.
up,
I just
show and go.
I'm in. And you planned all of it. Whatever you want
We
to
had
do.
8 days like that. It was called Your Trip to Hawaii.
That's true. That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
And the shows went off just fine. We missed you.
cow.
Absolutely.
So that's the whole gist. But honestly, it really is important to me that they're like brotherly and reconciled. Again, I think it's just going to make the shows that much better if it does end up happening. I just don't know how would I even get tickets to a show in Wembley? Like, I have no British friends or anything like that, but I don't want to buy them secondary market. They're going to be $5,000 each easily. Like, they're going to sell so many
that's
tickets.
a big stadium, too.
Well, and think about this, too. Every kid in England, like Liam sells out huge venues. Every kid in England, guess what their parents grew up on? Oasis. Guess what they've been hearing in their house for 25 years? Oasis. And so now Oasis get back together. A father gets to take his son. Mom gets to take her daughter, whatever. Somebody said it's one of the most culturally significant moments in British history in the last 30 years. That's how crazy this is. So I'm so fired up.
And Anthony the Butcher, I am not calling the tier ones the peasants. Paul and I are the peasants.
Yes, yeah, that's what he meant.
And Woods is the Lord.
That's what he meant.
The king of the castle.
You guys are the serfs.
Lord
We're the
Radio.
serfs, yes.
Lord Radio.
Woods does have a certain belief of the way things should be done on radio, and you want those things done.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I always get it on Sunday. Always sends me an email with like radio tips and techniques
Yes.
every single week.
That's not from me, by the way.
I know, but you forward it to make sure I read it.
To make sure
they
we
were from
read
you.
it. Could you guys imagine on Sundays if I put together, hey guys, here's some things you need to work on.
Done. I'm out.
I would like to say that we are the Three Musketeers, but it's probably not the case. But I mean, it's not like it's worked or anything, so whatever. They sold a lot of records. We sell a lot of records. That's how it goes. But I'm pretty elated. I'm pretty elated.
So what's their like signature song?
I got a bunch, man. Wonderwall.
Wonderwall.
They got
That's the one.
Don't Look Back in Anger. Champagne Supernova.
No, I've heard that one
As
too.
they say, Live Forever. I mean, Supersonic. Keep on down the line. They're an incredible, and I've seen them live a bunch. But this one will be really, really special. So, and for me, it's the brother thing. It's the brother thing, being able to take my bro after I completely robbed him of a
Now,
really good show.
what if you fork over 10 G's to
And
go
they
to
break up?
Wembley? Well, or then they announce a U.S. tour and they're coming to San Diego or
You know,
LA.
I think seeing them in their home country is special. If they announce a
Woods
U.S.
will just
tour,
see him twice. He has no, no problem with that.
Honestly, though, if they announce a tour closer to home, I'll go to the one closer to home because Bo wants to go. He really likes him a lot, too. So he was so mad when I told him yesterday, I'm thinking about going with Uncle Brent. He goes, oh, really?
Oh.
You know what he said? He goes, I'm not wearing my Ben and Wood shirt to school anymore. Yeah, he goes, I don't want people to know. I was like, he's a real tit for tatter, that one. So we'll see how it works out.
I can't imagine though a show at Wembley.
I can't either. And where they're from, like, it just
My buddy went to the
be
tribute
insane.
show that the Foo Fighters had
Yes,
there.
which
he
was- and-
flew. He was from London and he flew from New York across the pond, went with his dad, and that was like a 7-hour show or
and
whatever.
guess who opened that show? Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
He was real tight with those guys. So it's gonna be a scene over there. But I hope to be a part of it. If you have any tickets, I'll buy them from you. So
Well, Joe Musgrove was quite the champagne supernova
He was,
on Friday
man.
night. We have really not given that performance its due. We will do that when we come back. And then Sammy Levitt's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Still lots to get to here on a Monday edition of Ben and Woods. We'll be right back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Sauer 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Well, we all saw how good Joe Musgrove was on Friday, but the implications for that are what are very exciting. Because we were kind of hoping that Joe Musgrove would come back and, eat some innings and start looking sort of Joe-ish. I did not expect in his third start off the injured list for him to turn in every bit as good as his no-hitter, I would say. I mean, I know he didn't get the no-hitter, but in terms of, stuff and command.
Nasty.
Exactly where he wanted to put it, every single time. I mean, the mitt did not have to move on Friday night for Joe Musgrove. He was so locked in and so good, it can't help but make you dream a little bit about what a rotation with Dylan Cease, Michael King, Joe Musgrove, and now Yu Darvish set to come back hopefully in the next couple of weeks could look like running up to and into the postseason in October.
Yeah, getting Joe some runs early too was fantastic. But man, you go 7 innings. We had talked to Schilt that day. We said, hey, I asked him, when do the restrictor plates come off the Red Dragon? And he was basically like, it's going to be dependent on how quality it is. If it's quality, we're going to let him go a little bit. 7 innings. He was so
good. He actually didn't increase his pitch count
Correct.
that much. He only had to throw 75 pitches.
It's insane. It's a dream. It's an absolute dream for a fan, for Joe, for AJ, for Schilt, all those guys, for the bullpen, all of it. And just put the wood to the Mets. No problem at all. Manny, nice night. Arise, really nice night.
That home run to lead off the bottom of the first inning, you don't think Luis Arise. He hits a couple of home runs, but usually they're pulled down the line, 360 feet. This one was over 400 feet.
Yeah, dude. Got
to
into
a
it.
deeper part of the park. I'm going, wow, that is in there? That's actually in there? And especially with the finger and the thumb injury, just good to see that he still has that ability there when he needs to drive the ball. That was exciting.
Spectacular. And no walks, guys. No walks.
9 strikeouts.
Nothing. Look, strikeouts get your pitch count up, right? Takes 3 strikes to get a hitter. So, you strike out 9 and you only throw 3 pitches. That's 27 pitches right there. But not every strikeout's 3 pitches. The fact that you're not also coupling that with ball 4, ball 8, ball 12, that it just makes you're in the zone.
Blake Snell.
Yeah, it makes you Blake Snell. You're in the zone all night, but they just are flummoxed at the plate. They cannot hit it. And the way he was spinning it, the way he was locating was like I said, it was sensual.
We haven't even mentioned it yet. How about that play in the top of the 6th, ground ball towards first base?
1-2, reach forward, grounded slowly to the right side. Musgrove slides for it, flips it over to first in time, inning over. Oh, he's doing it all here tonight. Joe Musgrove with one of the best defensive plays you will ever see a pitcher make.
That scoop to Crony.
It was incredible.
Unbelievable.
And then the next night they interviewed me and he goes, it actually wasn't that hard.
He
I'm like,
downplayed
bro,
it, yeah.
are you kidding?
No, I've had other plays that were I know it looked good, but that one wasn't that tough.
The smile on Crony's face, you son of a, look at you.
It was interesting, though, the discussion about the instincts between Joe and Jake.
Yes, and it's preordained.
Were required to make that work because neither of them knows exactly which one of us is going for it.
They
It's
do.
right in that no man's land.
Well, they do now.
But
did you hear what they said on the interview the next day? He has told Crony, if it's over there, you hold. I will go get it. He's told him. So they know now. Crony now knows. All right, Joe's on the bump. He's athletic as hell. He loves to go for these. I need to hold my position. Because nothing would have been worse than both of those guys both running for the ball. It's who hit it? Lindor? Yeah, Lindor's on. If they're both going for that ball, he's on. So that's one of those things, it doesn't show up. You don't know about it unless you ask. But that's something that has been preordained. When it's over here, Crony, you hold. I'll go get it. Unless it's right at you, I'm going to go get it, which I think is one of the cool little nuances of baseball.
Another deposit into the Higgy Bank in the 2nd inning. Kyle Higashioka. We haven't really talked about him a lot. Jurickson Profar has a new career high with 21 home runs. Higashioka passed that long ago. 10 was his career high. He's at 15 now and continues to just absolutely be his best version of Kyle Higashioka
that there's ever been.
After, he really had a very slow start. Remember how struggling he was in the first month and a half of the season? But once he's been locked in, he's been every bit as productive of a catcher behind the plate, at the plate. He just got slug. He's got slug, and when he gets a hold of it, it's probably either going to be a home run or it's going to be foul by 8 feet and just miss being a home run.
We need to get this man right here in our studio a number 20 Higgy jersey.
Yeah, 100%. If you were going to buy a jersey, it should
That's be a good one for sure.
100%. He has been phenomenal.
So yeah, that was the stress-free game for the most part for the Padres this weekend, which was nice. You remember
given the Darvish presser and the announcement earlier in the day, Tatis on the field swinging the bat in BP, and then Musgrove returning on a Friday night, making all the plays, striking out all of the batters. The vibes could not have been much higher on Friday.
Remember how doomy Friday's show kind of felt? Not because of us, I don't think, but there was just 2 losses in a row and just that worry that the Padres season was about to go off the tracks over the weekend, and bouncing back and taking 2 of the next 3 against the Mets, I think, is very calming influence on all of us in the Padres fan base. So that was that one on Friday was very important, though. Good news, good performance. Felt like everything was okay in the world thanks to the guys who got it done, especially because it was Joe being the one who got it done on Friday night.
Yeah, it was beautiful, man. Just a beautiful, beautiful, perfect victory at Petco Park on a Friday, which we, like you said, kind of desperately needed. So they quelled some of our fears by absolutely dominating, and I'm just so happy for Joe, the work he's put in, and hey man, better late than never for all these guys. Better late than never for you. Better late than never for Tatis and Kimmy as well. I mean, come back and help lead this team. That's pretty special.
And I get in the standings, it wasn't really a good weekend for the Padres because
it was fine.
The Dodgers took 2 of 3 from the Rays. They won yesterday 3-1 on a Mookie Betts 2-run homer in the 8th after Shohei Ohtani got hit by a pitch. So the Padres still 4.5 games behind the Dodgers. And then the Diamondbacks sweep the Red Sox with a 7-5 win. Eugenio Suarez has gotten hot. He had a go-ahead 3-run homer over the Green Monster off one of the light standards. They're now 20-5 in their last 25 games, and they lead the Padres by a game and a half for that first wild card spot. I was listening to some of the MLB Network radio stuff this morning on my way in, and they were talking about how a potential Padres-Diamondbacks playoff matchup would probably be the one everybody circles in the first round, the premium wild card matchup. And if the standings hold, it's the Padres in Arizona for a best of 3, and the winner would then face the Dodgers in the second round in the division round of the playoffs. And they mentioned it, and I thought this was true. If you're the Dodgers, that's the worst case scenario.
Correct.
Because you're getting a division rival that's really familiar with you, both of you which have knocked you out of the playoffs the last 2 years, and whoever emerges is going to come out of that series hot and confident and feeling like they can win the World Series.
Well, and you've got the season series against the Dodgers already, and no matter what happens.
And the Diamondbacks have played well against the Dodgers also this year.
Yeah, man.
And right now the Dodgers, it doesn't matter who you get. You're getting the worst option no matter what.
Yeah.
The team that wins that series is coming to L.A. with a truckload of momentum into that playoff series. Now, things can change. The Dodgers may not finish with the best record, and you may be going to Philly or Milwaukee even in that second round series. Or the Padres may, win the wild card, or the Diamondbacks may win the division, and it all gets mixed up. But right now, that's kind of the course that these teams are on at the moment.
Yeah, and somebody said in the chat, I think it was Elisa, said, we can't control what other teams do. No, I mean, all Mike Schilt and his guys can control is how they play tonight against St. Louis. That's it. 1-0. Just keep going 1-0.
And this week, again, 18-18. You got to get through the next 8, and then you've got a bit of an off-day schedule coming up where you can sort of take a least a quick breath going into the final month of the season.
Yeah,
All right.
good for them, bad for us, but it's fine.
Yeah. All right, we will come back in season. Sammy will check in on his weekend, just get a brief catch up with Sam Levitt. Still got a Reindl Report coming up and more. Don't go away. It's Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, gang, it is
I'm sure it was a lovely wedding that Sam Levitt attended yesterday, but I got the sense that there was a twinge of, like, this is the game. I missed this game.
Oh, it's the worst.
This one with Jackson Merrill again. I guess he's seen, half a dozen huge Jackson Merrill.
That's true.
Home runs that have tied or taken a lead already. So what's missing? One. But yeah, Sammy wasn't there yesterday, but he was there on Friday, started the weekend, and we usually talk to Sammy on Monday. So
he sent us the picture.
Yes, he sent us the picture, and we can talk about Yu Darvish's return and what he had to say on Friday. Get to all that with Sammy right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company. Visit them at airmax.com. We still have a number of problems here. Northbound side of the 5 before 28th Street. Collision in the center divide. Watch out for some debris reported in the fast lane. Up ahead, a crash clearing before Hawthorne. That's in the center divide. Also, a hit-and-run crash involving a motorcycle westbound King Freeway before the 805. That's been moved over to the right shoulder. We've also got a collision on westbound 52 right at the southbound 125 connector. And a traffic alert in the North County along eastbound 76. Very slow traffic from Vista Way to Via Montserrat, all due to some traffic signal outages. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, joining us right now, the host of the Padres Eco Water SoCal pregame show and postgame show. We will hear from him, I believe, at 3:45 this afternoon as the Padres get set to start a 4-game series in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Sam Levitt joins us here on 97.3 The Fan. Good Monday morning to you, Sammy.
Good morning. I'm off one more day. Scraby's got you.
One more day.
Today.
You were at out-of-town wedding? Where did you go?
Out of town. Greetings from and good morning from Atlanta, Georgia, the home of Adam Klug.
Hey, good morning.
Are they still
Sam.
fired up about Georgia Tech's big win over Florida State on Saturday?
That was huge.
I did, not one person has mentioned it to me while I've been here, so I guess they're not excited.
Well, you were there on Friday. And
yes.
during the pregame, when we had heard, in the morning that Yu Darvish was returning and that he was going to speak to the media, I think at 3:45 in the dugout at Petco Park, and I was like, oh, bummed, I can't be there, but I'm sure we'll get good coverage. And then you sent the picture, and we were all stunned, like that Yu Darvish would come out wearing a Ben and Woods shirt to his welcome back news conference at Petco Park. Were other people stunned as we were, Sammy?
It's funny. I didn't note anybody having a real discussion about it. I immediately...
I'm sure there were discussions. I am sure there were discussions about it.
I did immediately notice it, and afterwards, when he started talking to the Japanese media, snapped a picture of it. But yeah, how about Yu Darvish in the Ben and Wood shirt? You never know, guys. He could be a big time tier 1 listening right now. Who knows?
If he is listening, we love you.
Good morning, you.
We love you, and we love you, Sammy, for sending that over, man. It made me yelp. Yeah. I audibly yelped in the car, but man. Listen, exactly, kind of. You always want to win a series. A 4-gamer's tough, man. Taking 3 or 4 from any team is tough, especially a team as tough as the Mets. They have a good team, and they've got good players on it, and they're fighting for their lives as well. But really, a kind of a perfect scenario. I mean, they don't pick up 1 inch on you and you cross 4 games off the list, man, and that's you move on to the next series.
Yeah, and I think, look, you have to have a bit of a realistic expectation. The Padres have played so incredibly well, and I know at the same time the Diamondbacks continue to stay that hot, which is just an unbelievable part of this whole thing as we get into the final month here. But look, I sensed a little, I don't want to say panic, but certainly some concern when they lost on Thursday, and it was 2 straight losses for the first time in over a month. And my message on the postgame show on Thursday night was, it's baseball. It happens. They're allowed to lose 2 games in a row. And you're also allowed to split a series against a good team in the Mets that's battling for their playoff lives. So would you like to win 3 or 4, win the series? Absolutely. But I think this time of year, considering where they are, not that catching the Diamondbacks and or the Dodgers isn't important. Of course, it's something you want to do. But I do think you have to stay a little bit, realistic about the course of a baseball season, and splitting a 4-game set against a good team in the Mets. That's okay. And now you head to St. Louis and you hope to keep winning there. But, obviously Jackson having the moment yesterday, you're right. I wasn't there for it, but I certainly caught it right when it happened, got the alert on my phone, and it's just the story he's written for himself in his rookie campaign is unbelievable. But all in all, would you have loved to take 3 or 4? Absolutely. But I do think there's during the course of a baseball season and in the context of how well they've played, splitting a 4-game set against a team that is chasing you is certainly not the end of the world at all.
Sammy, I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this, but with Joe Musgrove's performance, with you, Darvish, set to come back to the rotation, and then presumably Ha-Seong Kim and Fernando Tatis returning soon, obviously that's a huge injection for the San Diego Padres. But it's not a huge injection in a team that's been struggling. You hear that, yeah, I know we're not playing well now, but wait until we get our players back, we'll recover. Padres have been playing well. I'm curious to see what that looks like once all these guys are back and performing, hopefully, at career norm type levels. I mean, where do you see the kind of ceiling here now for the San Diego Padres going forward?
Well, I just think about it from a playoff standpoint, and particularly a starting pitching standpoint. I mean, if you're telling me that, some combination of Cease, King, Darvish, Musgrove, and especially the version of Joe we saw in his last start, if that's what they're rolling with, guys, I think you have to be very, very confident with their situation heading into the postseason, and obviously Fernando and what he ultimately brings to this lineup, and defensively in right field, and the strength of their bullpen between the additions of Adam and Scott, and my goodness, Brian Hoeing. You think about a playoff sense, talk about somebody that could much like you guys discussed earlier, and again, I didn't follow the game as nearly as closely as I would, but with Martin Perez getting in trouble and then ultimately going to Hoeing, and having a guy like that who can be that effective and cover multiple innings in sort of those middle inning scenarios could be so important in a playoff scenario. So, I feel the way I think a lot of Padres fans feel right now, and that is that the sky's the limit for this group. And you start to think about what their rotation could be in a playoff series, what they continue to do offensively, and the strength of their bullpen. I mean, to me, it feels like they've got about as good of a shot as anybody, and especially we know how this works in the postseason. It can be random. It can be crazy. It's about getting hot, and to me, they have just as much a chance as anybody to get as hot as can be and make a real run at this thing. And, man, the starting pitching, especially if you're going to get that version of Joe and obviously get you Darvish back, I think that really changes the equation in a number of respects.
Talking to Sammy Levitt here on Ben and Woods this morning. And, Sammy, I'm going to take it back a little bit. Ben was out of town. Paulie and I had Tim Flannery in, who was, coached with Bruce Bochy and won 3 rings in San Francisco. And talking about how Boch always managed the bullpen in October, and he said, "Man, you take the 4 and 5 starter and you just slide them down." Now, I don't know what that looks like for the San Diego Padres, and not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but you mentioned Brian Hoeing. Talk about too. I mean, guys, like the way Martin Perez has competed. If Joe Musgrove goes out there and doesn't have it in a playoff game, and Martin Perez can go give you 6, and you don't have to use a Brian Hoeing. If Joe can only give you 3, but they're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different options. You wonder, and my heart does go out to the guys that have been scrapping and grinding. But sorry, man, when Tatis comes back, Bryce Johnson's probably gone. And when Ha-Seong Kim comes back, Mason McCoy's probably gone. And that's the nature of this business.
Had that conversation about Waldron last week.
Yeah, and like with Matty Waldron, like what does that look like? But it's so nice to, I guess, have some options.
Yeah, I think what's really nice about the pitching in particular right now, Woodsy, and we've seen it really, even in the course of this homestand, we saw it a couple of times. Like, I'm trying to jog my memory now, or really in the course of the last week and a half, 2 weeks, where it certainly feels, and look, maybe it's the part of the schedule we're now in as well, but it certainly feels like they have a group that is much better suited to quote-unquote chase wins.
Yes.
Right? And in the postseason, that's really important because you're never giving up on a game in the postseason.
No.
right? You may elect to save an arm if there's 3 games in a row and you're getting blown out in the first of those 3 games. Sure, maybe you elect to save somebody, but you're only chasing wins. It's all about the win in the postseason. So it certainly feels like with Hoeing, and if Perez is somebody who ultimately goes to the bullpen when all is said and done, when it's postseason time, between Hoeing and Perez and obviously Adam and Scott and just the length it gives this bullpen to use other guys, like Yuki Matsui to me is somebody who, has been really, really, really good for the most part. And the idea that he could be sort of lower in the pecking order of guys out of the bullpen but still be really effective, it just gives this team the ability to quote-unquote chase wins a lot more. And right now, just regular season-wise, we're in the part of the schedule where you're going to try to do that a lot more. And you guys mentioned it, yesterday, Mike Schilt was much more aggressive, even though they were down, in quote-unquote trying to chase the win and give his team, and by the way, an offense that has just time and time again shown a propensity to come back. I think that's a part of it, too, when you have an offense that has shown this ability to rise to the moment, to come back in games. It's a pretty good combination if you compare that with a bullpen that can provide you the ability to chase wins on a pretty consistent basis.
Last thing for me, Sammy, I want to go back to you, Darvish, and the Friday news conference, because the Padres, like any baseball organization, got some strengths and some weaknesses, but it really feels like top to bottom, Mike Schilt, A.J. Preller handled this situation with you, Darvish, really, really well and supportively, and it sounded like what you had to say backed that up.
Yeah, I think they handled the situation really, really well in respecting, use privacy and keeping it to baseball during the news conference on Friday. And, I thought just all the way around, and this is going back now, a while in the questions that have come up to Mike Schilt throughout the last couple of months about it. I think, it was a really, really fine job by everybody top to bottom, and Hughes back, and, he was ready to come back, and they've, made a plan now for him to eventually join the rotation. And look, I was, really encouraged to read over the weekend, him throwing a simulated game and getting already above 50 plus pitches. You would imagine that return might be pretty soon here. Same thing with Fernando, to see him over the weekend, or I should say late last week, be out there sprinting, taking live BP. To me, it did not feel like Fernando was all that far away.
He was taking hacks too. Like he was taking
it was normal BP.
Yeah.
To me, it looked like a total normal batting practice. So, and it certainly doesn't seem, based on what's been said, like it's going to be a super, super long ramp up, or that there even would be necessarily a rehab assignment of any kind. So, to get those guys back, I think in the Darvish case, it was handled really, really well, and it's great to get you back for so many reasons. But again, from a postseason perspective, I mean, that's somebody that you can hand the ball to, and there's a pretty good chance he's going to go deliver you a really quality outing. So great to have you back, and I'm with you, Ben. I thought handled really well all the way around over the past week or so.
All right, Sammy, safe travels back from Atlanta, and we'll hear you tomorrow, I assume, on the pre and post game show.
Yes.
Great.
I'll be back tomorrow for the rest of the way.
All right.
Looking forward
Sam
to
Levitt,
it.
He'll be back tomorrow for the second game of the series. And based on what you said, you, Darvish. It needs to be pointed out when people do things the right way. And you said that A.J. Preller, when you said, I have a personal situation, I can't travel with the team. A.J. said, it's fine. You're on the injured list. Just stay there. We'll just keep paying you. And he goes, no, I need to go on the restricted list to handle that. Wow. And it was A.J. did the right thing by supporting his player. You did the honorable thing by going, I'm not 100% invested right now. Just put me on the restricted list.
Man.
And I mean,
you do not see that very
often.
You don't.
And it was well handled on all sides. And now they're getting you Darvish back for the stretch run. And hopefully, the reports on his bullpen session yesterday were good. Like, he looked pretty Darvish-like for his 3 simulated innings against minor league hitters. Now, that's not major league hitters. That's, there's still a couple of steps left before he comes back to the rotation. But it's reason for optimism that 100%. They could be getting a pretty much Darvish-like Darvish at some point here before the end of September and into October.
Yeah, man. And I want it for him so badly. You know, we don't know what he's been through. Apparently, it was enough to take him away from the team for a while. And whatever it was.
Didn't sound like the players knew what happened. It doesn't sound like anybody really knows what was
just
going on.
probably him and AJ Preller, man. And kudos to AJ for doing the right thing there. And you know, I don't even want to say that's the right thing you, Darvish, did. It was the very honorable thing, as you put it.
All right, Paulie's got a Reindl Report coming up, including what is expected to be some baseball history made today. That's coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Didn't bring it up, but Woods and I were Zapruder filming.
Oh, we did.
David Peralta fair foul ball. The first one. The second one was definitely foul, I thought. Down the first base line.
First base line,
Close,
I think, was
but
foul.
That one was foul. It was the one down the third base line that Manny was just hopping and going fair, and Schilt
lost
was
his mind.
very
He went
upset.
nuts. And I couldn't believe he didn't get run.
So if you remember the play, obviously Manny's at third. Padres are having trouble scoring. They're fighting, battling tooth and nail to try to get a run in. And Peralta just swing, kind of late swing, down the line. And it goes right over the edge, looks like, of the third base bag. And the umpire, foul ball.
Manny's hopping mad.
Manny's hopping mad. So they show the slow-mo replays on Padres.tv, and you see the shadow of the ball. It bounces like right on the edge of the chalk before the bag, but it's where it goes over the bag though. Yeah. And it bounces up and it kind of goes over very close to the bag and then stays in the air until, a few feet after the bag when it bounces foul. But as the ball is going over, you see the shadow of the ball going over the edge of the bag and still over the line, fair past third base. However, and I pointed this out to Woods, if you look at the shadows of the umpire and Manny, they are projecting straight onto the field because the sun is over the third base side of the stadium at Petco Park, which means the same is true with the baseball.
Correct.
That shadow is probably going to be maybe just an inch or two
foul
toward the fair side. So if it's going over the line, there's a good chance that ball actually was maybe an inch foul.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Either way, even if they could replay it, which that one is not reviewable, I don't think there would have been enough evidence, even on the shadow, to overturn it because of where the sun was positioned over the field at that moment. Because, see, the umpire shadow, if you're looking on our YouTube stream, the shadow goes almost straight to the left.
Back and to the left.
Back and to the left. I don't know. We Zaprudered that one. Luckily, the Padres won.
It looked like it got the corner.
Tough call.
Very
tough call.
But, hey, no big deal. Padres win that game. It's fine. Flush it.
Yes.
Move on. Do better, umpires. You won't, but I'll say it.
Try.
Just try.
That one, if I'm the umpire, though, I mean,
I'm like,
there's no right. There's no one
it's 50-50,
way.
isn't
The
it?
other team's livid if you call it fair. Padres are livid if you call it foul. There's no winning that one. It was so close.
I hate those calls. It's got to be
close.
impossible for the umpire to see in real time as well. Just totally, I am absolutely appreciative of how hard that is to call because it was really close.
Really close. All right, Paulie's got some headlines. It is time for the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Gentlemen, we will start off in Major League Baseball. Over the offseason, we talked a lot about Blake Snell. When's he going to sign? What's that contract going to look like? And he was, of course, a Scott Boras client. And Boras had like 4 big clients that all really took L's over the offseason where they signed eventually with their new teams. Jordan Montgomery was one of them.
Yes.
He ended up signing a 1-year, $25 million deal with the Diamondbacks.
That's a good chunk of change.
I mean, Blake Snell got, 30 a year?
Yeah, 30 a year.
They got paid.
They got paid.
But it was not the longevity and the number that they thought, that, quite frankly, they all deserved.
Sure.
Who were they? Matt Chapman?
Chapman
Cody
was another
Bellinger?
one. Cody was another one. Yeah, man.
It was a rough offseason. It was almost, I'm not going to defend Scott Boras, but if he were to think there might have been a little collusion with the owners, I would buy it.
Yeah, I would too.
I think of Jerry Maguire, that line where he's like,
Yeah.
you ran the tables on me for
You
years.
stuck it to me for
now
years.
It's your turn
Yeah,
to back
your
it up."
turn to feel it.
It felt like all the owners were sticking it to
really
Scott
did.
Boras. So One of the teams that Jordan Montgomery really thought he was going to be going to was the Boston Red Sox. He thought it was like a done deal. He had a quote as the Diamondbacks were in Boston this weekend, and he said, I had a Zoom call with the Red Sox. That's really all I know. It went good, Montgomery said. I don't know, obviously. Boris kind of butchered it, so I'm just trying to move on from the offseason and try to forget it. Pretty scathing words from a client to his current agent.
Is he still with him?
I believe he is.
Wow. Who dumped Boris then?
Jurickson
dumped him.
I want to say Montgomery did too.
He might have.
I feel like he might have.
I think he might have.
Not seeing it here in that story. Anyways, Boris responded.
Ooh. Yeah, he fired Boris.
Yeah,
He did fire. Okay.
Yeah.
Scott Boras said, I saw what Jordan said. I know what it is to be frustrated with this game. As a former player, I feel for him, but I'm also a lawyer with obligations to my clients, including former ones, so I cannot discuss what happened or the decisions Jordan made unless he gives me permission. If he gives me the green light, I'll be happy to talk about it.
God.
I've been doing this for over 35 years.
Boy.
I relay all offers and
God.
relevant information to all of my clients and act at their direction. They make all decisions. We wish Jordan well.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can see both sides of that. You can see, hey, man, you had this on the table. You didn't think it was enough. You know, sometimes you just have to take the best offer. And I think he did, but it was the missing of the spring training, and he's now been pushed to bullpen duty.
Montgomery was the last of those four clients for Boris to sign.
Yep.
1 year, $25 million with Arizona. He fired Boris shortly after that.
Yeah, contract negotiations are never, ever.
Signed with his rival, the Bob Sugar of today's
Did he?
Wasserman, rival agency.
Never fun.
Now, if the owners are happy about this, and I have no doubt that there's at least a few of them who are smiling somewhere about Scott Boras getting some criticism from his own clients, they can never say it.
Oh, yeah.
They have to just, like, silently just kind of go, But they can't say anything publicly because that would look really bad that an owner was cheering against a particular agent for whatever reason, even though I'm sure they have their reasons to not be big fans of Scott Boras. They can't say anything.
100%.
They can't act like they've ever talked about him. There's nothing untoward going on in Major League Baseball about Scott Boras, but you know that there's a few of them who are going,
yes, I got you.
All right, we'll move on. Speaking of those Red Sox, they are going to be a part of baseball history later today.
I love this. This is great.
Yeah, so I guess what had happened was there was a trade that happened earlier in the season, and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, they played today. They're going to resume a game that happened in June 26th. That game was called early. They are resuming it today. Alex Cora made the announcement that Danny Jansen is going to substitute in for Reese McGuire at catcher today.
Reese McGuire is the one that got caught in the parking lot punching the clown.
Yes.
So it's just the second inning of this game.
Yeah.
Correct.
And Jansen started at catcher for the Blue Jays.
Correct.
He was then traded to the Red Sox.
Correct.
He will be catching for Reese McGuire, and that makes him the first player to play in both teams in the same game in Major League Baseball history, and he's going to catch the at-bat that he himself started.
Correct.
And must be pinch hit for.
Correct.
So he was up when the game was suspended. He was batting 7th for the Blue Jays. He is now batting 9th for the Red Sox. He will go in catching against whoever they put in as a pinch hitter for him for the Blue Jays, and then he will come up likely in the next inning to bat against the team for whom he started the game way back. When was the game started?
June 26th.
June 26th, so 2 months ago.
That's absolutely
That is crazy. And
insane.
that's never... I mean, there's been a lot of suspended games and trades, but this has never happened in Major League Baseball before.
Yeah, one guy playing for the same or playing for different teams that are
The
playing
same
each
game.
other in the same game. Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, the deadline deals, you're playing the Rockies.
But you haven't started the game.
But it's before the game. Hey, just come on over to this
Come
locker
on
room
over.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But same game. Same
I don't want
teams.
Ricardo Rincon facing us tonight. Get him
Send
over
him
here.
over.
Send over Rincon. I don't want him going against
I got
us
your
tonight.
money.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's happened in the minors a couple of times, but never before in the majors.
So cool.
Okay,
So-
that is cool.
And listen, you got to have a manager that's willing to play along.
Yes, Alex Cora said something along the lines of, "Hey, I'd heard about that. You know what?
Let's
make some history.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's have some fun."
Might have started you, might have started the other guy, but why not? I mean, baseball's fun. This is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool moment.
I mean, it's a pretty important game for the Red Sox, who are, hovering near the wild card.
But it's not like they're starting Devers back there as a bit.
Yeah.
The guy's a catcher.
Yeah.
So.
All right,
Pretty great.
Earlier today, we started the 8 o'clock hour with Ben asking Woodsy about the Oasis reunion. It was kind of an interview. Ben was learning more about Oasis.
Yeah.
We all were. I've got another reunion happening here that all three of us, I think, are excited about. Ted Lasso, Season 4, got the green light, reportedly, over the weekend. So
we're just talking about
we
that.
were. And I have trouble remembering how Season 3 ended.
They lost in the chance to win the championship, but lost.
Yeah.
And then Ted was going back to the United States to be with his family, right?
Kind of wrap it up in a way where if that was the end, it made sense, right?
Yeah. He's like, okay, I did my England thing, but my kid's back, tired of the Zoom calls with his kid and wanted to go back and be a dad again. So he was going back. So how are they going to get him back? What's going to be the plot twist that gets him back to AFC Richmond? I guess we'll have to find out. But they have most of the cast coming back.
Yeah. Deadline had the exclusive story on it, and so Apple TV's one of their most successful shows, Season 4, got the green light, and they had to get everybody on board.
Sure.
And it's been tough, especially when you have a successful show like Ted Lasso. You do 2-3 seasons, you're gonna start getting other gigs. And who was it that they had to get? They're still working on Jamie Tart.
Oh, you gotta have Jamie.
They're not sure because he's got some conflicts with a couple of other programs.
Ben just spoiled Season 3 for literally.
It's not.
Everyone's
It's not
furious.
some.
Everyone
it's
is
not
furious.
some psychological drama whodunit sort of show. It's Ted Lasso.
So you just told everyone they lost.
It's not. It's very small potatoes when it comes to the big picture.
But obviously, Jason Sudeikis was on board. A lot of the cast was on board. They had to get Rebecca, the owner.
Yeah. Hannah Waddingham.
Roy Kent, Brett Goldstein, and then Jeremy Swift, who plays Leslie Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
They had to get all three of them
on
board.
Who did we have on?
We had
Danny Rojas.
Danny Rojas.
Yeah, he dropped an
Football
F-bomb
is
or
life.
something. Yeah. Did he drop an F-bomb?
We had Football is Life, Danny Rojas on the show.
Yeah, he just comes on. He's like, "Hey, MF this and MF that." Whoa.
Apparently, we didn't tell him it was radio. I don't know. Yeah, we did get him though. That was fun.
Bruce Willis was dead all along in The Sixth Sense. If you haven't seen it, just so you know, when you watch it,
it's not.
He's dead.
It's really not a big deal. It's soccer. They win some, they lose some.
And they tie a lot.
And they tie a lot too.
Yeah, and people like that.
That's not what makes the show good.
They're very excited.
It's a very tiny part of the show.
Yes, 0-0. Yes, great job.
It's about the relationships and what we learn along the way in Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Season 3 was okay. It was okay for me. I don't want to be that guy. Like, if everyone's ripping on Season 3 of the bad. Season 3 is typically the season where everyone's like, terrible. I
don't know, man. The good shows, they keep getting better.
And Ted Lasso left a little to be desired. Left a little on the table this year.
Season 1 was so great. It came out in the summer of 2020.
Oh, we needed it so
and we
bad.
just wanted some positivity.
A velour blanket on a rainy day.
What shows actually lasted a long time, but then just kept getting better and better?
Breaking
Bad is the only one that I can.
Sopranos is way better.
Sopranos got better. I'll give you that one.
Oh my god.
But
yeah, I mean,
most of the time, you stick around long enough, you're gonna jump the shark.
Yeah, for sure. I think Ted did. So hopefully they bring it back and just kind of get back to the. It just got so corny. There was a lot of corny stuff that happened.
I agree with that.
Some weird things.
But
I won't
corniness
spoil,
I
won't spoil.
Corniness was at the heart of the show.
No, that's not what I mean. Like, Ted Lasso's already corny enough. You don't need 40 other corny people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like Danny Rojas. I like Danny Rojas, but we get it. You really like playing soccer. We get it. It's a one-note joke. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So, that's my harsh criticism of Ted Lasso. I won't spoil any of the plot for you since Ben has already done
I don't even
that.
remember most of it.
I
But
really
Paul
don't either.
asked what happened at the end of season 3. I just
That's
answered
true.
the question.
That's true.
So be mad at Paul
So it's
for
my
asking
fault.
the
It's Paul's
question.
fault, I
Exactly.
guess, yeah. Thank you, Paulie.
My fault for something you said. Okay.
Did you guys know football is life?
Football is life.
Football is life. Hey, really? You said that before.
I've heard that.
Are they getting Zava? We'll find out. All right.
They do get Zava.
Oh, see, now he's spoiling more. So we heard some of the good of the baseball this weekend. We have not gotten to one of the bad notes from Major League Baseball this weekend. We'll have that coming up, and we're going to give away some tickets to Kansas. Carry on, my wayward son. All coming up next after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Well, we are remiss in not offering our congratulations for 3 hours and 22 minutes this morning to the history-making Chicago White Sox, who lost their 100th game yesterday.
That's unreal.
Oh, my God.
31 and 100, the second fastest team to 100 losses in the modern era of baseball, with a 9-4 loss to the Detroit Tigers, getting swept in the weekend series.
Aaron Judge is going to have twice as many home runs as they have wins.
Yeah, Judge hit another 2 yesterday.
51?
50 and 51.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah, he has these concerning 24-hour home run droughts in between games that he's not doing anything other than during the games when he's hitting home runs. 18 first-inning home runs ties a Major League Baseball record. But, yeah, that's one end of the spectrum, Aaron Judge, and the other, the Chicago White Sox, 100 losses in just 131 games. They have 31 more games to play.
Good God.
I mean, if they're on their current pace, they're definitely going to get to 120.
I am not laughing at all at them. Not even a little bit. Because we still have to play them for 3. And I'm not saying a word. Nothing.
Padres have a few interleague series. It's amazing how many interleague games they have.
Yeah.
They've got the Tampa Bay
Tigers.
Rays on this trip, Tigers when they come back,
Tigers,
Astros, who have been one of the hottest teams in baseball.
Well, they had a rough weekend. They figured it out last night to beat the Orioles.
They did win yesterday on Sunday Night Baseball. I was watching some of that game.
Did you
and
see
then the
play
White Sox.
Mauricio Dubon made? He ran.
Into the wall? Yeah.
He
into
ran.
the fork.
He ran 131 feet at top speed, caught the ball, smashed into the wall, and held on to the baseball.
That's pretty much like the combine, the 40-yard dash,
Yes.
except at the end,
you slam into
you
a wall.
smash into a wall
Now-
at the end.
Now we laugh at the combine every year. You do that at the combine at the 40, I'll watch.
Go as fast as you can, and then right at the finish line,
boom!
there's a wall.
There's a linebacker there to just drill you. I mean, and they said, yeah, that has padding on it. It's about an inch thick, and it's all concrete behind it. And I'm like, you can't get some better padding for these guys? Holy smokes, man. He got wrong. They had to take him off the field. In regards to the White Sox, they keep doing this bit. I feel bad for him. Got traded over from the Dodgers, and that's Miguel Vargas. And, he is up-and-coming player. He is playing for the meaningful at-bats and meaningful games for the Dodgers, and he gets shipped off to Chicago. And for some reason, the camera has started catching him every game, Benny. Have you seen the meme of the guy that plays Pablo Escobar just sitting in that chair just waiting? This is Miguel Vargas. He's a big leaguer, and he's playing in Chicago, and they just catch him, and he just looks so forlorn, and he's just sitting there like, get me out of here, ASAP. I mean, he looks like he's ready to hang them up and retire from the game of baseball. And I'm like, bro, you're still on a big league team. You're making big league money. You're getting a chance to play every day, but I get it, man. Going from the Dodgers, you're going to go to the playoffs for sure, playing with all these big stars. And now you're in Chi-Town.
It does feel like every contender that loses any game to the Chicago White Sox.
Oh, you're just
It's like a tragedy.
It's a tragedy.
I mean, the Yankees lost one to the Rockies this weekend, so the Padres aren't the only one.
Yep.
But,
Got smoked.
You look at the Padres against just the Rockies, the Mets, and the Angels. Outside of those 3 teams, Padres are 30 games above 500.
Crazy.
Take away those 3 teams, 30 games above 500 this season. And while they didn't get much help on the out-of-town scoreboard this weekend, the Nationals did beat the Braves at least yesterday 5-1. Atlanta fails to complete the sweep, so they're back to 3 games behind the Padres for the second wild card. They remain 2.5 games ahead of the New York Mets. Giants lost another 1-run game. The Bob Melvin specialty again, falling to the Mariners 4-3. Seattle wins that series. The Giants are 5 games back in the wild card, 8 games behind the Padres, as are the Cardinals, who did sneak out a 3-2 victory in Minnesota on a Lars Nootbaar 2-run single in the 9th inning. They're tied with the Giants. Both teams are 500 in those wild card standings. So here's what to look for early this week. We've got the Orioles at the Dodgers starting tomorrow.
Good series.
3-game interleague series in L.A.
Go Baltimore.
Mets at the Diamondbacks. That also starts tomorrow. 3-game series.
I've always loved the Mets, man.
Yeah, fantastic.
Love the
Jesse
Brian Kenny
Winker
on the show.
Jesse Winker, hope you have a big series.
Go off, King.
Except we're not really cheering for the Mets either because
No,
we don't want them to get any life and
That's true.
make a charge.
I'll take my chances. I'd rather the Diamondbacks lose now than the Mets lose.
Fair enough. The Braves go to Minnesota to take on the Twins for an interleague series. Giants are at the Brewers, and you kind of look at, the Giants are not that relevant at the moment at 500. The Brewers are battling for the number 1 seed right now.
Yep.
I think they're just behind the Dodgers, a game and a half behind the Dodgers for the number 1 seed. And then this is an interesting series. The Astros are at the Phillies for 3 interleague games. Phillies have gone from cruising to the number 1 seed to now all of a sudden having to start to look in the rearview mirror. They've been caught by the Dodgers. I think the Brewers have caught or have almost caught them. And now they got to face the Astros for 3. And, I don't know that the Braves can get there, but
Brewers are 1 game back of the Phillies.
1 game back of the Phillies. And they've got a tough series here against the Houston Astros at Citizens Bank Park for 3 games. So some interesting matchups early this week. And then we mentioned earlier, at the end of the week, 4 games between the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Wraparound series from Friday to Monday next week, ending on Labor Day.
Yeah, buddy. I'm ready. I'm ready. My body's ready.
I think for that 4-game series, I just want 4 long extra inning games split.
Yeah,
The Dodgers and
just beat the hell out of your bullpen, and a couple bean brawls would be great.
Yeah.
Great, have fun, guys.
Suspensions would be
it would be fantastic.
So you might remember. So Jesse Agler will join us tomorrow from St. Louis for the Song Lyric Incorporator, and you might remember how that started was with the minor league announcer who did a weird thing when he was calling a home run call.
Hit hard toward right field. This is getting toward the fence. This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be tripping you were gone. Mike Hogwood used to say, kiss that baby goodbye. Kiss that baby goodbye. There for the tourists. Carry on my wayward son. They'll be tripping you were gone. That one's gone. Oh, yeah.
Very, very weird.
So yeah, sort of Kansas lyrics
I love
there.
the idea. The execution, though.
So in honor of that guy,
why does he just read it?
All week long, we are going to be giving away Kansas tickets. And when you hear that guy, like you just did,
I gotta figure out the right sounder.
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son. They'll be tripping you were gone. Mike Hogwood used to say, kiss that baby goodbye.
You hear that, call in. So call in right now for your chance to win tickets to see Kansas at Humphreys by the Bay, 833-288-0973. Got a pair of tickets to Kansas at Humphreys on September 22nd. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com or win them all week long here on Ben and Woods. Listen for that minor league dude incorporating Kansas lyrics into his
This is going to be Carry On My Wayward Son.
There it is.
There it is.
That's your sounder for the week to win Kansas tickets at Humphreys. Really, anyone at Humphreys is worth going to see.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while, but what a beautiful venue.
Great venue.
We have a number of really good venues.
We do.
In San Diego.
We do.
The Shell, Humphreys.
I haven't been to the Shell yet. I still need to go.
I was driving across the Coronado Bridge and could see the lights lit up on the Shell. Definitely some sort of concert happening there. And I go, all right, just anybody that I even remotely know, I'm in. I want to go see a show there. It looks
You've been
incredible.
to the Shell?
I have been to what was before the Shell, on the Embarcadero there. I have not been since they actually added the
I've been to the Shell on the
part of it,
Embarcadero,
but
I haven't seen the Shell
But
yet.
since they've
It
added
looks
the construction,
amazing.
I have not.
I got to get there. I was going to go see Counting Crows, but tickets were like $500.
Absurdly expensive.
I'll pass.
But Oasis, you're going to take out like a second mortgage to go see.
Yeah, keep that on the down low, though. I don't want the missus to know.
Nobody's listening.
Getting a new credit card or something. Something. It's happening.
You have a three-nager to take care of. I love that term. Can you share when we come back?
That kid.
What your three-nager was doing this morning? That's coming up next, and we'll look ahead to the Cardinals Padres series.
Yeah, we're in crisis mode at my house. I'm texting my wife right now.
Next year on 97.3 The Fan. Gerardo in the chat wants to know if he missed us talking about you wearing our Bennett Wood shirt.
We haven't shut up about it, actually.
No, we would never bring it up.
What happened?
We are much too classy to mention that on the program.
It's no big deal. Act like you've been there before, guys.
Paul had shirts made of you wearing our shirts.
Correct.
In the dugout at Petco Park.
What a moment.
That was pretty cool. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Floor & Decor. Unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Floor & Decor has more styles of laminate, vinyl, tile, wood, and stone for anyone looking for the right look at the right price. Your next beautiful space is at Floor & Decor. Floor & Decor, unbeatable prices, unmatched in-stock selection. Padres, St. Louis Cardinals getting ready for 4. No rest for the weary. Starting later today, we'll do a look ahead right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Wrapping up our morning drive with a couple problems in the North County. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a crash on northbound 15 before Valley Parkway. Couple vehicles involved, does not appear to be blocking any lanes. And traffic alert in effect along eastbound 76 between Vista Way and Via Montserrat, all due to some malfunctioning traffic signals. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
The first question, though, is will you even get a chance? Will your 3-year-old and 6-year-old give you a chance to even watch this game?
What time does it
tonight? 4:45 our time, right around your dinner / bedtime witching hour chaos at your house.
It's what we call. That's what I call in my house crunch time. And Hannah hates when I call it that, but it's crunch time. It is, and anybody with kids knows that, man. It's that time of day. They get out of school, come home, they want to play, whatever. There will be no me retiring into the study to watch the Padres battle the Cardinals at 4:40. I will try my best to have it on in my ears, whatever. I now will carry my phone around in my pocket with the game on the radio, where it's on every TV in the house, just trying to glean something from it. Because, dinner time's about 5, bath time's 5:30. Try to put them down about 7.
So as you're going from like one play set to another in different rooms,
yes,
and
yeah,
just maybe the game will be on here and
Hannah's
there
got
and everywhere.
it blaring on her phone because she refuses to use headphones, so she can't use headphones. So you hear Don, his voice. I've got Jesse in my ear or Don, and then it's on all the TVs, and it's chaos, man. It's chaos.
Merrill Madness!
And then you'll hear a delay on my phone. Merrill Madness! You're like, what happened? It's an S show. But what's killing us, and I can't be there because it's in the mornings, because I work mornings, as you guys know.
I do know.
My wife says, she tweeted in, picture Taylor screaming. My 3-year-old, who I assure you doesn't even know what effing planet he's on, whined and cried all the way to preschool because I was, quote, going the wrong way. Happy Monday. They are so...
He consulted his Google Maps and feels like Hannah doesn't have the best sense of direction to preschool in the morning.
They are kicking our ass right now. Both of them just destroying us. So we are...
Don't you go the same way to school every day? The same route?
Ben, he's insane. He's an insane
he's
person.
He's a crazy person.
He's absolutely nuts. I woke up last night. Well, I was in bed, and I was like watching something on my phone, and I saw this little flashlight. And he had snuck out of his room. He likes to play leprechaun, is what he calls it. And he runs down with his little flashlight, and then he runs back to his room and dives in bed like I didn't see him. Like, bro.
The flashlight's kind of giving it away.
Yeah, it's a tiny little one, like a keychain flashlight. 9:30 at night. And I'm like, bro, get in bed. It's 9:30. You got school tomorrow. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do.
Only if mommy knows how to get there.
If mommy knows how to get there. But she's just having a real hard time in the morning. Bo gets a little upset and anxious about school. Why would Bo be anxious? I wonder why, with two of us as parents. But so yeah, man, we're just going through it. It's hard. It ruins my mornings because I hate that she has to go through that by herself, and I can't be there. But so I want to take this moment to officially retire from the radio. This is it for me. I'm going to go home and be a stay-at-home dad. They're going to be in school, but I'll be at home. What do you think?
Today
is going to be the day.
Considers himself,
the luckiest man on the face of the planet. If we had money, she would force me to retire. Like if we had enough money,
you can't work anymore.
She'd be like, "You're doing this in the mornings. I can't do it anymore." She's at her wit's end. So if anybody has any tips, please fire them our way. She legitimately, this morning, I got an email that she had signed us up for a parenting seminar.
Seminar.
I said, what is this that you signed me up for? She goes, I signed up, but I'd like you to be on it. It's a parenting seminar.
Like a Zoom seminar.
Correct. And I go,
who's giving the seminar?
I don't know. Lord Parent. I have no idea. I go, okay.
I just can't imagine.
Yeah. Hear ye, hear ye.
I can't imagine anyone out there is so good at being a parent that they can give seminars on it.
Yeah, and by the way,
they're lying.
Yes.
If they're saying, everything went perfectly with my kids all the time growing up, so I'm going to give you a seminar on how to do it, they're just lying to you. Everyone has struggles being a parent. Every single person struggles at times at being a parent.
Dominic says it's probably someone who doesn't have kids. You're probably right. You're probably right. I mean, you can, and every kid is different. And every kid is different on Monday than they are on Tuesday as they are on Wednesday, which makes it even doubly challenging.
I mean, if they're being honest, the only thing they can say is it's really, really hard. And if you feel like it's going to kill you, it probably will.
Yeah.
Congratulations. You're a parent.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. And so he said that's what beer is for. Yeah, for sure. But, I can't suck down 12 beers every night. What kind of parent am I if I'm like, hey, you guys do what you want? Now, I know there's parents out there like that, but I can't be one of them. So, yeah, man, it's rough, dude.
Well, if you do get a chance to, pop in and out of the different rooms and catch some of the game tonight, the first pitching matchup of the series will be Randy Vasquez making his return from AAA. I don't know if the Padres officially announced it or not. I know Jeff Sanders was reporting it early in the day yesterday that Vasquez was on his way. He's not listed, so I'm assuming it's official, even though the Padres probably haven't made the corresponding move. I think, unfortunately, Lake Bacher is probably headed back down after one day in exchange for Randy Vasquez, who will start against right-hander Kyle Gibson. Gibson, who pitched well. Now, it was way back on April 1st when he faced the Padres at Petco Park, but 7 innings, 2 runs, pitching the Cardinals to a win that day. I don't know if that's relevant or not, but that's your matchup for the first game of the series.
Imagine we came in the next morning. Here we go
Here we go again. What was it, April 1st, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We should pull April 2nd show. Well, here we go again. Oh, no.
Stand by.
We mentioned Randy Vasquez, this possibility last week when Matt Waldron was sent down, saying he's on schedule. His last start was 5 days prior, so it makes sense for Randy Vasquez to come up. But he's also put up like an 8+ ERA at AAA since he went down. Now I'm sure he'll be glad to be out of the Pacific Coast League and the high altitudes and tough, the hitters' environment of that league. But I don't know where the confidence level or the stuff is at right now for Randy Vasquez.
Yeah, me neither.
Remember,
he got smoked in AAA, but a lot of guys get smoked in AAA.
Remember, Mike Schilt was very aggressive with his bullpen yesterday. You get 3 1/3 decent innings out of Randy Vasquez. Can you do that again, or do you have to go with your lower leverage guys today and get some more Yuki Matsui and other guys, pitching Sean Reynolds perhaps in the game today? Maybe one of the tougher games of this road trip here, given the scenario and situation that the Padres are kind of facing going into the game tonight.
So you desperately needed that split yesterday. You really did. I mean, and so a Schilt masterclass yesterday, and the offense came through when we needed him most. Listen, getting to Kyle Gibson early solves a lot of problems. Oh, God, Paulie is laughing and smiling over there. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did you already find it?
Why have we never done this bit before? Oh, no. Why have we never done this? We should be doing this all the time. After a guy starts against us, we need to go back and listen to the next day's show.
Read the stat line one more time from April 1st.
All right, so April 1st,
What is it, 4 games into the season?
Yeah, I think it was the first homestand. Let's see, he pitched 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 solo home runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts.
I hate this.
And he got the win against the Padres, 6-2.
We opened the show. The music stops playing, and Woodsy, get your heads right.
Right.
Over to my left, etc.
Happy Tuesday to you. Let's get our heads right. I know it's hard to get your heads right after a game like last night. I'll be honest, a little bit fussy about it, and we're only a week into the season, but that's just going to be the move this year. Excuse me. That delivered way better than I thought.
So all the offense in that game, and remember the Cardinals took 2 out of 3. That was the first game of the series. Fernando Tatis Jr. hit a solo home run.
Oh.
He
Okay.
won't be hitting one tonight. But you know who hit his first major league home run against Kyle Gibson in that game?
Merrill.
Jackson Merrill. Went deep against Kyle Gibson for major league.
This is Jackson Merrill.
Home run number 1. We thought, we're not really expecting to see much in the way of power, but that was nice to see Jackson get a hold of one and get on the board here early in his career. No, 18 home runs later, with about 7 of them being absolutely critical for this team. Here we are with the Rookie of the Year. Not only favorite, but I saw this morning Kevin Acey from the UT. He said he wasn't writing a newsletter because he flew to St. Louis yesterday. He didn't go to the game, but he said, after that, I had to at least send something. He declared the Rookie of the Year race over. He said, it is over. Jackson Merrill has won it after yesterday's latest walk-off winner.
I love Paul Skeens.
Nothing that your true love Paul Skeens can do at this point. I mean, if he goes out, I guess he throws like 2 straight no-hitters. I mean, anything can change.
I love Paul Skeens.
Shut up!
I don't get me wrong. I love Paul Skeens. I hate this day.
Not so fun.
Not so fun with the shoes on the
Believe
other
me,
foot.
I've been living it for 6 years.
Oh, how the
6
turntables.
years.
Ben, we have rarely do we take anything out of context for you.
All right, so after today, the rest of the series, it matches up pretty well for the Padres. Dylan Cease against Miles Michaelis, who 5-something ERA this year. He's been
I loathe Miles.
He's been mediocre this year.
Remember, he hates Manny.
Then Joe Musgrove against Andre Palante, who's been pretty good, 6-6, like 3.75 ERA. Katie Wu was on with us earlier and said some nice things about Andre Palante. And then Michael King against Sonny Gray,
good
who
matchups,
has been good matchup.
Yep.
Interesting matchup for the day game to close out the series on Thursday. 4-game series. And Paulie had the weather forecast. Brutal.
Hot rain.
Hot and wet.
Like, I mean, 96 is like the low.
Save that.
Hot and wet. Yeah. That's the forecast. Now, I saw like cloudy, but not necessarily like rain out rain, but that means the humidity is going to be jacked way up. And it's, I think the lows are like 75, but the highs are 97, 98, 100. I mean, even in the evenings, this is going to be hot and unpleasant for both teams, but obviously the Cardinals are a little more used to it than the Padres will be.
I mean, look, we're talking to Jesse tomorrow, and he won't come right out and say
He'll say it.
Well, yeah, I think he might.
He'll say it.
He will.
This is his number 1 most loathed trip of the year. It's to St. Louis. Hey, and don't forget.
Especially this time of year.
Time of year.
Yeah.
August, late August. Don't forget, you're also playing in front of the self-proclaimed best fans in baseball. So, I mean, it's a huge series for both teams. They're scuffling to stay above 500. They got the tractor beam right now. Remember when we had the tractor beam just sucking us right back to 500? That's been them.
I mean, this is it in terms of weather, because after this, the road games are Tampa Bay, indoors. At Seattle for 2 in September. At San Francisco for 3. And then the last week at LA and indoors at Arizona to wrap up the season. So in terms of nasty, humid, East Coast, Central, Midwest weather, this is it. Padres will be done before the last month of the season with any kind of difficult weather possibilities. But these next 4 will be sapping, draining, and unpleasant for your San Diego Padres.
Now, as we wrap up the show, Blue Meanie in our chat asked, did you guys talk about Merrill after the game?
I wanted to, but Ben hates cursing so much he wouldn't let us
Paulie will
bring
edit it for us.
He did not want us to bring it up.
I thought actually
I think it's a great idea to bring it up.
I think
you said you didn't want to sully his
no,
potential
you know what?
Rookie of the Year.
My honest opinion is that
I love Paul Skeens.
What Jackson did with Bob Scanlon in his post-game interview, while it might ruffle some feathers of sensitive ears on a television broadcast, shows a great deal of awareness of the San Diego Padres fan base and what he needs to do to fire these people up.
Go San Diego!
Come on.
That was both on television and in the ballpark to everybody still gathered.
Jackson, what do you have to say to these 42,000 fans here?
Go San Diego!
Yes, some underage ears might have heard it. I think they'll be okay, though, Woods. I think they will survive, and I think that was good. His teammates liked it. Fan base likes it.
That was 2022, right?
That was Jorge Alfaro.
That was Jorge Alfaro.
And then he kept doing it.
Well, Jackson's
Jackson's
doing
Go
what
San Diego.
He's doing what Jorge Alfaro did.
Yeah.
The walk-offs, huge home runs. I mean, it makes a little more sense, actually, from Jackson than maybe it did.
Go San Diego!
Jorge Alfaro. Made no sense that he was doing it.
My kids were very upset by it.
Were they?
They were very upset. They'd never heard such strong language. Yeah, Patrick says Ben's seething internally. Oh, yeah.
I'm really not.
Did you think that, if he does this could hurt his chances?
No.
Okay.
No, I actually think that it was I actually thought it was a good thing.
Yeah. I did too.
I wouldn't do it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing.
If we win the World Series, you're doing it. You're doing it on downtown on a microphone.
Yeah. But they win the World Series.
100%.
You got it.
If you make the World Series, you have to do it.
During the World Series?
Yeah.
Like whatever broadcast we've got? Fine.
100%.
Fine.
On the air, too.
Okay.
You have to risk being fired.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, Paulie's got the dump button ready.
Correct.
Can you bleep me live?
No.
Time it perfectly? Let's practice. I won't say.
Oh, God.
No. That's a terrible idea.
I won't say the actual word. I'll pretend, and then you can just bleep me out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe tomorrow. All right, that's it.
Try it.
Let's freaking go San Diego.
That scared me to death, dude. Don't ever do that again.
You did pretty good there.
That was
nice.
really good.
That was pretty good.
We're never doing that game again.
To do it in the last 15 seconds of the show.
You stupid mother.
For Paulie Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Annie and Elston coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.